Maybe the new fantasy market. The popularity of movies like Star Wars has come from Tolkien, says Arthur Rankin Jr., designer of NBC's The Hobbit, as well as its co-producer and co-director with his partner, lyricist Jules Bass. The old wizard with the Force in Star Wars, that's Gandalf, the wizard of The Hobbit. The young fellow having adventures, good versus evil, that's the White Tower versus the Black Tower in The Lord of the Rings. Whether or not Tolkien was in fact responsible for the success of Star Wars, it seems clear that both provide escape into fantasy worlds where good and evil are clearly defined.
Hey there, y'all. I'm Danny J.
And I'm Joel N.
I'm Trevor D.
I'm Joe Vasky.
And together we are all...
Keep on Tolkien!
All right.
Right. That was an excerpt from an article from 1977 called Will the Video Version of Tolkien Be Hobbit Forming? I just like that title. But yeah, all the way back from the 70s when one of the movies we're talking about
Yeah,
today.
I liked that opening excerpt. It was really interesting, especially since those are two of my favorite properties.
Yeah, I love
Lord of the Rings and Star Wars.
Well, it's funny because Star Wars just came out when this movie came out. 77, they both came out in the same year, man.
Man, that's a year for film.
Yeah,
for nerds.
What a year. But yeah, you guessed it. Today we talked about it a little bit. Today we're going to be talking about animated Tolkien adaptations.
Yes, specifically we're going to be talking about the 3 animated films that were back from the
late 70s, early 80s.
Late 70s, early 80s.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we'll be given some general information about the films and the people who made them.
Mm-hmm.
We're also going to give our general reactions and comments on each film because we all watched them beforehand.
Yeah, and then by the end we'll kind of amalgamate this all into a KOT review for each movie, giving a little conclusion to each discussion. And we'd also like to welcome back Joe Vasky. Hey, Joe.
Hey.
I don't know if this is a hot take, but I kind of wish there were more Tolkien movies and shows that we could watch.
You just want to be on more episodes. That's what you want.
Well, and I just, even if it's not good, I still just like seeing Middle-earth represented on the screen.
Just seeing people take a crack at it.
Yeah.
Seeing what they come up with, because a lot of people envision it differently in their heads.
Yeah, no, it's super interesting to see how people adapt all these different things. Yeah, we're going to be looking at some kind of 2, I would say, wildly different adaptations of the same work.
Well, it's cool because these ones they're all pretty old at this point. Most people who probably think of Lord of the Rings and stuff probably don't even know that these exist.
Yeah, some people didn't. I definitely didn't know about these until I was in high school. I had seen them at the video store, as I'd seen many things at the video store, but I just never really, The Hobbit, whatever, saw it.
They're 40 plus years old at this point?
Well, I don't know. Some of us, this is all we had. When I grew up in...
The sheltered kids?
Yeah.
Me and Joel
sheltered
saw it.
homeschool kids.
Because I was going to say Rankin and Bass is a little corny for my taste.
Because,
when I was a kid.
what does every Christian parent love? Lord of the Rings.
Right.
They're always okay with their kids watching
no matter
Lord of
the
the
adaptation.
Rings. No matter the adaptation, how dark or how violent.
Could be
It's
done
Lord
by
of the Rings.
by that pervert Peter Jackson even.
That pervert Peter Jackson. That guy is a disgusting, morbid son of a bitch. And they let him do Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
But at our house, this is what they let us have. So all 3 of these movies were at our house, and I have a lot of beloved memories as a little kid with my siblings watching specifically The Hobbit and The Return of the King. We had a hard time grasping the Lord of the Rings as a child.
The Bakshi, yeah.
The Bakshi. We're going to get into that in a little bit. But
well, yeah, so let's rattle off in order here what we're going to be covering. So
yes.
First and foremost, we got the 1977 The Hobbit by Rankin and Bass.
We've got The Lord of the Rings from 1978. This one is done by Ralph Bakshi.
Yeah.
And then we've got, just a couple years later in 1980, The Return of the King, once again done by Rankin and Bass, the same person who did The Hobbit.
Which is
same folks.
A direct sequel, technically.
It is, yeah.
It's kind of a complicated thing because it's a direct sequel to The Hobbit, but Bakshi's came out in between, and Bakshi's covers Fellowship and Two Towers, but not The Return of the King. And then Rankin and Bass comes up and just does Return of the King.
They're like, we're gonna finish it off, but also almost like ignore the last one entirely.
Well, yeah, it's a whole thing. And it's the same company ended up owning the rights to both movies, and then they would market them as like double features. So it became even more confusing later on.
It's super
Extremely.
weird because they don't like share the same animation style
No,
or anything.
not at all.
So,
No.
like, marketing them together like
It's very strange.
it's very strange.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bakshi has a very different vision of Middle Earth than Rankin and Bass do.
Yes,
Yeah,
I mean, I already went ahead and said Rankin and Bass is sort of corny, but let's get into
let's save
get
the
into
discussion.
Let's get into Rankin and Bass right here. So some general info about the Hobbit movie, produced by the company Rankin and Bass. This is an American production company out of New York City. Started by Arthur Rankin Jr. and his friend Jules Bass in 1960.
Yeah, it's most well known for seasonally made for TV specials, mostly done with their stop motion animation technique called Animagic, which sounds magical on its own.
Yeah, Arthur Rankin made that up. He coined that term apparently. But yeah, some of those famous franchises, we've all fucking seen them.
Oh yeah, especially the millennials
God.
and Gen Xers. We're all gonna remember this list.
Yeah, so you got, these are some of the hits. These are just some of the hits. And I mean, there's a lot of these. Like, go to their Wikipedia page, there's a lot of these.
These are like the highlights. Everyone's gonna remember these.
Yeah, so you got Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, the Little Drummer Boy, Frosty, of course, Frosty the Snowman, and Santa Claus is Coming to Town. All those in every...
Old stop motion.
Yeah.
And
Well,
Jack
it's-
Frost.
Yes, Jack Frost
It's
as
funny
well,
that these
yeah.
are all Christmas movies.
Didn't they have
Yeah.
like an Easter Bunny one as well? If I
They
remember,
did have an Easter Bunny one, and I can't remember what it was called. But yeah, they did have. There's a ton of Rankin and Bass put out a shitload of stuff. And what's funny is it's almost all of it is made by this group of people that we're about to talk about, which is crazy.
That's cool.
I kind of always liked them. They had a certain charm to them.
Yeah,
They did. Yeah,
they do. Rankin and Bass films do have a certain charm that's kind of hard to replicate, and it really hasn't been replicated since. I mean, so much to the point where South Park made a whole episode.
The Satanic Critter Christmas or whatever it is.
No, the Lemmiwinks is a parody of.
the Lemmiwinks being
yeah.
a parody of the Hobbit and
Is
stuff.
a
style.
parody of the old Rankin and Bass cartoons. Even the theme song is a parody of The Greatest Adventure, which is the theme song from this film. But yeah, so like they have a very specific feel.
Well, and I have a question. These films, all the Christmas ones, I guess, are these post The Hobbit and Return of the King?
Many of them are before.
Really?
Yes,
Really old.
1960s when the company started. So by 1972, they're well established as made-for-TV special people.
Yeah, like my parents watched some of these
In the
growing
60s,
up. Like,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely heard of all of these ones prior to, but prior to actually like making this episode and stuff, like I hadn't heard of the Return of the King or the Lord of the Rings animated films. We watched The Hobbit a couple years ago, Danny.
Yeah,
but that was my first exposure to that as well.
That's a funny story, actually. That was some aborted content. So my my nephew, I think he was like 5 years old at the time, and I had this idea. I was like, we should watch The Hobbit with him and then record his reaction.
Oh yeah.
But me and Trevor watched it with him. Joel was unavailable for some reason. I can't remember what. But he didn't like the movie. Oliver does not like the movie at all. And then I was like, well, I don't want to sit and talk about it with a 5-year-old that disliked the movie. So I was like, yeah, I guess we're not doing this. And he just like skipped off and had a good...
Credit to him, though. He sat through the whole thing.
He did sit through the whole thing, yeah. And I mean, I think it's an old movie, right? Like, I don't think he's Gen Alpha. I just think 70s cartoons are just a little...
It's a little too high art for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
He's had to sit through Jaws 3, so
yeah,
Oliver can sit through anything now.
Oliver told me Jaws 3 was the worst movie he'd ever seen. And I was like,
funny.
oh,
that probably is the worst film
it is,
he's
I'm
seen.
sure. Yeah, I'm sure it is. That is a terrible film. Let's talk about some better films though.
Yes.
So this 1977 The Hobbit was animated in Japan mostly by a studio called Topcraft. Have you guys ever heard of this company?
Not before this.
You
not
are
before
going to
this.
hear about it for a second here because you're all fans of these people and you don't even know it yet.
I know what they became. Yes.
Yeah. So one of the prominent Topcraft is a Japanese animation studio. It's one of the prominent companies that Rankin and Bass would outsource to for their animation. Rankin and Bass was one of the first American companies to begin to outsource to Japanese studios in the 60s and 70s. And that was because that was when the Japanese animation
Boom.
industry became a thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably around the time we started getting like real actual anime, like
Right.
the
Around the same time. Yep.
adaptions of manga to
Yep.
animation.
I feel like you can kind of see that some of that style in some of the Hobbit. Like,
yeah.
it definitely comes through a little bit.
Yeah, the character creations are very distinct in these. Rankin actually said that the character design for Bilbo in The Hobbit was inspired by Arthur Rackham, who's an artist, right?
Okay.
He lived from 1867 to 1939. What a life! But he's known for illustrations of fairy tales of the Brothers Grimm and Peter Pan in Kensington Gardens in England, right?
He has some good. I looked at some of his illustrations, and they were like really pretty.
So
Yeah.
it was supposed to look like him or like one of his illustrations?
Like his illustrations. So in
Gotcha,
his
okay.
art style.
After
Yep,
his
yep.
style. Okay.
This company, Topcraft, they're most well known for making Hayao Miyazaki's film Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind from 1984, which I've seen twice.
Great movie.
You took me to see it in
Yeah.
theaters. Do you remember that?
Not strictly.
We saw it at Uptown at midnight.
Now I do. Yep.
Yeah, you remember
Yes,
that?
I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Keely came with us.
Yep.
Yep. I think she's probably the one who told us
She
about
dragged
it.
us
She was
there,
real
yeah.
excited.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, a great movie. I love.
Yeah, I
I
know.
love that I got to see it in the theater.
Yeah, no, it was funny. It was cultures coming together because she's like, oh, they're showing a Studio Ghibli movie, and I was like, where? And she's like, Uptown Theater. I'm like, I'm a Uptown Theater rat. Let's go.
Yeah,
Like,
let's
you know?
do it.
So yeah,
I saw Princess Mononoke at Uptown at midnight.
Oh,
That
yeah.
was one of the best.
that's awesome.
I would love that.
I
too.
miss-
Yeah.
R.I.P.
I miss
Midnight
Uptown
movies.
Theater. I know.
Uptown
I miss
Theater
it so
was
much.
a great one.
Uptown Theater.
It got coveted, right?
R.I.P. Yeah, it never came back after COVID. I think. Yeah.
It's like a concert venue now.
Yeah, it was the only theater left that had a balcony in the Twin Cities. A movie theater with a balcony. Pretty crazy.
I keep sending bomb threats to the concert venue.
Jesus Christ.
Demanding that they bring back the theater, but
Yeah.
they won't listen.
They just won't respond to violence.
They said they don't negotiate with terrorists.
Damn, they always say that.
On the subject, I know a cat named Nausicaa, named
Yeah.
after this Nausicaa.
Yeah,
Shout out.
shout
Yeah,
out.
such an influential film.
But yeah, it's so Topcraft. A lot of these animators they went on to form Studio Ghibli or I don't know how you say it. Ghibli.
I
Ghibli.
personally, I'm a Ghibli person.
I've always
Um,
said Ghibli, but I know people say it different ways.
You get on the Discord. Tell us
like
how
it's like the GIF or
pronounced.
GIF kind of thing.
Yeah, who
Except-
knows,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So that happened in 1985, right? So just what was that? 7 years after this film came out, and also Topcraft had other collaborations with Rankin and Bass, including the sequel to this, which is Return of the King in 1980, The Flight of the Dragons from '82, which I've never seen,
That
and
sounds cool.
also from 1982. What I think is a craptastic movie,
Whoa.
but Joe fucking loves.
I like it too.
Yeah, you like it too. A lot of people really like this movie, and I honestly, legitimately don't know why. It fucking confuses me. The Last Unicorn from 1982.
I've never even seen this movie.
Ooh,
It is
Oh,
a
you should.
crazy movie.
it's
yeah.
so fucking weird. It was just. Yeah,
That's
just
so-
watch it. Yeah, I don't know what to say other than just watch it. Like, ugh.
Going back to childhood Hobbit, my grandparents had The Hobbit on VHS, Return of the King on VHS, Secret of Nim, and The Last Unicorn for some reason, which is not really like I wouldn't recommend it to a young child. It's a very strange.
No, it's a very strange
Film.
and out there movie. Like to the point where I think it's a little out there for me, even. And that's why I don't generally enjoy it.
I enjoyed it as a child.
Yeah.
I feel like this came from that era where there were a lot of movies and films and things that were advertised as geared towards children, but they were extremely
A
dark.
little dark, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, even the Return of the King and the Hobbit have some pretty dark moments.
It's true.
There's
yeah.
some dark themes, yeah. So these, like we said, these Rankin and Bass films are made for TV. So this one premiered on NBC on November 27th, 1977.
Yeah, it clocks in at a modest 78 minutes for a runtime.
Love it.
Yeah, which I think is an hour and a half slot time.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, enough time for a couple
90
commercials in there
minutes.
somewhere, and it had a budget of I want to say only $3 million.
No, you say only, but actually,
In today's money, that's not much, but
no,
back then,
this was actually the most expensive animated film ever made at the time,
Really?
with a $3 million budget. Yes,
That's crazy.
yes, I read that in that article that we read as a matter of fact from
And
the
they
opening
made
excerpt.
Smog look like that?
And that's what it looked like.
I don't know. I've always taken issue with their art direction of their Smaug model. I don't know. That's just me.
I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, I'll agree kind of with your Smog thing. I particularly disliked how they made the dwarves look.
We
Yeah.
can get into that
Yeah.
when we
We'll
talk
get
about
more into
animation.
yeah. Joe, you had something you wanted to say about Disney and Rankin and Bass, right?
Yeah, this is from that same 1977 article. But yeah, so in the article, they said the Walt Disney Studio considered animating The Hobbit, but decided against the project because the world lacked the kind of humor that audiences expect from Disney animation, and because any attempt to alter Tolkien's story to inject such humor might result in bad will and vocal resentment from Tolkien devotees. I just loved that they were already scared of like the fans back then.
Even back then, they were like, "This fandom is fucking crazy." Yo.
But
like,
I kind of think a Disney-fied Hobbit could be kind of sick, honestly.
I'm surprised it didn't happen, if I'm being honest. But at the
Really?
same time, I feel like Tolkien would have just rolled over in his grave.
Yeah, Tolkien.
I mean,
yeah,
he-
Tolkien vocally hated Disney in his life.
Very much
yeah.
so. Very outspoken against Walt Disney as a person.
Said he belonged in jail at one point. He said that he does everything that is legal to keep him out of jail. Is what he said.
well, and I think we know that Tolkien didn't really want to see any sort of like animated or like movie adaptation
This
of
is
his
true.
work, and
Yeah.
so if Disney had taken over, it probably would have been the thing to resurrect him from the grave.
yeah, like the
really.
worst case scenario.
Maybe that's what we should do. We should just keep desecrating his works
Oh my
further and
God.
further to
Oh,
see what
Amazon's
makes him.
well on the way.
That's a brilliant idea. All we have to do is just tear apart all of Tolkien's work till his vengeful ghost comes after
The
us.
second
Poo-poo
coming of
all
J.R.R.
over.
Yeah.
Rob Zombie, the Silmarillion is yours.
Oh no. That's the worst thing I've ever heard. That makes me want to die.
Well, all right, let's move on. Let's move on.
Yeah,
Let's talk about some of the noteworthy voice casts, because I think this film had some pretty notable people in it.
Yeah, each of these films has a handful of notable people that we're going to talk about. The first one is the voice of Bilbo, Orson Bean. Yeah, Orson, he was a famous American talk show and game show host, and also a comedian. He appeared on The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson over 200 times.
Goddamn.
Any relation to Sean Bean?
I didn't. No, Sean Bean is English, so I doubt it. Yeah, Bean must be a commonish name, I imagine.
That would have been a funny relation.
That'd be
Mr.
pretty
Bean,
funny.
Sean Bean.
Mr. Bean, Sean Bean, yeah. Pork and beans,
Bush beans.
Bush beans, Captain Ken's beans, local West Side reference. There you go.
Well, Rankin said that Orson Bean has a demeanor and a voice quality and a private style of life that is very much like The Hobbit. So, like, he already had his sort of personal relation to it in a way.
Fun fact, I found this interesting. Orson Bean was kind of raised a comrade in his early life. His father was a founding member of the ACLU, which
Oh,
is
shit.
yeah, the American Civil Liberties Union. If you don't know, they're a bunch of like cool lawyers that fight for civil rights, basically. He was also blacklisted from Hollywood for attending Communist Party meetings in the 1950s.
All
which
right.
he said later on in life it was because he was dating a cute communist girl.
Really?
Wow.
But I feel like that's a cop-out that
So this
almost
is
anybody would say back
During
then.
like the Red Scare era.
During the Red Scare, yeah. Unfortunately, he did become a conservative later in life and wrote Breitbart articles.
Ooh, no.
But yeah,
That's a story arc.
the story arc is even weirder. He later got hit by 2 cars while crossing the road in L.A.,
Simultaneously?
one after the other.
That's better than being sandwiched.
So
but-
like he basically got hit by a car, caused a pile up that then got him hit again. Is from what I
Jesus
understood.
Christ. When I first read that, I imagined 2 cars simultaneously hitting him at the same time and like sandwiching him
Yeah,
or something. Like,
exactly.
That's awful.
something really awful and graphic.
Well, what's even worse is he was 91 years old when it happened on February
So-
7th, 2020.
Every single bone in his body probably shattered.
He was old. Yeah, I don't know why that dude was crossing the street on his own at 91 years old. That's what I
If you're
said.
walking
damn.
around in public when you're 91, there's probably like
So
a
many dangers
decent
out
chance
there.
that might be the last time you're walking around
Yeah,
in
exactly.
public.
Well, it's a tragedy that Orson Bean went out that way. At 91, he lived a full-ass life, and
I do like him as Bilbo.
I do love him as
I
Bilbo,
think
too.
he's good.
I was going to look up and see if there's any Tonight Show with Johnny Carson clips of him. I
Oh,
wonder
that'd
if
be fun.
That'd be fun to check out. Maybe we could do that on the Discord or something. That'd be fun.
Let's talk about Gandalf for a second.
Yeah, let's talk about Gandalf. This is very strange. One of the weirdest things about this movie is that there are 2 wildly famous legendary directors that voice characters in this. The first is the voice of Gandalf, who is none other than John Mother-friggin' Huston. And if you're a film person, you know that John Huston is a wildly famous Hollywood director and actor. Some of his most famous films, Joe, what are they?
The Maltese Falcon,
Yes.
Treasure of the Sierra Madre, The
Yes.
Asphalt Jungle, The African Queen, Key Largo.
Yeah, the only one of those I haven't seen is Key Largo. That's a Bogey and Bacall. Or have I seen Key Largo? No, I'm thinking of Big Sleep. Anyway, all these are great movies. We just recently watched Asphalt Jungle.
Yeah, Asphalt Jungle's great.
Yeah.
Also, Angelica Houston and
Yeah.
Danny Houston
Houston.
are his children.
His children, they're both really great.
Oh shit!
We just recently
okay.
saw Danny Houston in The Naked Gun, which if you haven't seen the new Naked Gun movie,
No.
holy shit, go see that movie. It's really, really funny. I loved it. I'm a big fan of those movies growing up. But yeah, John Huston movies are known for being really plot heavy and complicated, a little bit more so than some people like. The Maltese Falcon is one of those movies that like twists and turns, man, right? But yeah, he directed 37 feature films and was nominated for 14 Oscars.
Goddamn.
With 2 wins, both for direction and screenplay for Treasure of the Sierra Madre, which is an awesome movie. I love Treasure of the Sierra Madre. What a great movie. And then, yeah, so that's it for the great John Huston. And for next, we have Otto Preminger as the Elven King. What the fuck is going on with this movie?
Wait, which Elven King? Like the
Thranduil.
Thranduil, yeah.
Okay.
The king of the elves of Mirkwood.
Mm-hmm.
He
one with the- well, he's
instantly
got a
he
very
sticks
thick-
out because of his right.
Yeah.
Wasn't expecting the
What was his
wood elf.
accent? It was
He was born in Ukraine, but he was born in the Austro-Hungarian Empire.
okay.
So his accent is Austrian. From what I understand. But yes, he's a wildly famous and influential director, and for some reason he's in this movie. I haven't seen very many of his films. I think I've only seen one, but I have seen a ton of the director's films who are influenced by him. Just a short list here: Martin Scorsese, Stanley Kubrick, Sidney Lumet, Jean-Luc Godard, and Paul Schrader. Some of those people are my favorite artists of all time.
Just a few minor.
Just a few minor fucking people, you know.
I mean, I've shamefully only seen one of his movies, Laura, but I did love that movie.
Yeah,
I need to see more of his.
I saw Exodus years ago, which it was written by Trumbo. We were looking at earlier. Cool. Otto Preminger is also famous for helping break the Hays Code.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which is the evil censorship
That's pretty
code.
cool.
from
That's
the-
pretty cool.
Some of the words that were used for the first time in his film Anatomy of a Murder, it was about a very violent murder and sexual assault. So it was quite the words that they used in the script were words that were never used in film before. And
Interesting.
that really helped push the censorship board to eventually falling apart and just having what we have now, which is I want to say no censorship, but minimal censorship, we'll say, right?
Okay.
But yeah, he really pushed the boundary of what could be depicted on film. Otto Preminger.
And then there's a brief section for Richard Boone, who voiced
Yeah.
Smaug. He was in a lot of Westerns. He was actually in a movie called The Kremlin Letter, which was directed by John Huston from 1970. But I also just thought this was funny. His son was a Tolkien fanatic, but Richard Boone didn't know Tolkien, and his son reportedly said to him, "Dad, are you sure you can handle this? Please don't louse this up." I just thought that would be like one
Don't
of your
fuck
guys'
this up for me.
dads
Yeah.
who was in, and your dad was just like, "Don't fuck this up, Dad."
All right, Dad.
It's funny because going back and watching this again as an adult, this is my first time watching this movie since I was a child.
Yeah,
I'm talking
same.
like early teens, like it's got to be. And I was actually kind of underwhelmed by his Smaug performance. Like
I'd
some
agree.
of his more like menacing and vicious lines, he kind of delivered them kind of lackadaisically. Like Smaug didn't quite care about what was happening.
Yeah.
I don't know.
don't-
I guess
I-
I just disagreed with his interpretation. But
It sounded like Smaug was on a bunch of smack, in my opinion. It sounded like he just shot up.
Well, it's like
Really
he
just
just
still waking up, I guess.
He couldn't be bothered.
he just woke up from the longest nap. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. We can get into it, but I kind of liked it. He kind of felt like he was voicing it as Smaug was just like above everything, aloof. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I
not
see.
to be concerned with mere mortal
Yeah.
hobbits and things.
Yeah, a definite choice. His performance, a definite choice. Whether or not you like it, I don't know. See, and hit us up on the Discord. What do you think? Richard Boone, does he suck like Joel says? Or is he cool like Vasky says?
Send your tweets to him at Richard Boone.
Is he even alive?
No, he's passed away.
I was going to say, I don't even think he's alive anymore. R.I.P. Richard Boone.
Well, let's jump to a really awesome part about a lot of these movies, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean the centerpiece of these Rankin and Bass ones, in my opinion.
Yeah.
The score, the
Score,
music
the
throughout all of this,
musica.
the singing, the chanting, the everything.
Yeah. So Maury Law, he arranged and scored the film, but he worked with Rankin and Bass on many different films, including all of the shitload of those holiday specials that we talked about earlier.
And then we have Glenn Yarbrough,
Yeah,
who's an American folk singer from the band The Limelighters.
it's true.
Wrote the song, the title song, "The Greatest Adventure."
Greatest adventure.
I do love the music in these Rankin and Bass movies.
They're great. Yeah.
So this is the guy, Glenn Yarbrough.
Yarbrough. I think that's how you say
So
it,
he's the one that did all
Yarbrough.
those folky songs throughout basically The Hobbit and the next Lord of the Rings one. I guess we'll get to that one in a minute. But
Yeah.
this is him, right?
Yep, and he was
Okay.
he was in the band The Limelighters in the '60s, and then had a decent solo career throughout the
Just fucking
'70s.
iconic. Like
Yeah,
these
just
songs,
the guy.
like even South Park famously parodied
In the
these.
Lemmy Winks,
Lemmy
Lemmy Winks. Yeah, it's totally his vocal style and everything, right? Like it's crazy.
I love it so much.
Yeah, and he's credited as the balladeer because it's like a narrator. It's like a separate narrator,
Yeah, exactly.
but is also singing you through the story.
It's like an
Yeah.
omnipresent.
Yeah, like the
Exactly.
chorus or some shit in a Greek play.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and then of course the third element of this music trifecta is Jules Bass. And he wrote the lyrics for the music, which are mostly taken directly from the poems and songs in the book.
yeah.
Yeah, at one point, in one of the articles I read, Rankin says like there is nothing in this movie that is not in the book, and I kind of might agree with him. I don't think they added much bullshit at all.
Yeah, one
If
thing I
anything.
can say is true about pretty much all three of these movies is they're all, especially the dialogue, very faithful.
They all took
the-
a lot
to the
of the
text.
dialogue from the book. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tolkien fans must have been wild in the 70s. They were like very afraid of pissing off the
Yeah.
Tolkien community.
Well, a lot of them were anti-war brick throwers back then, man. They're probably afraid of what they'll do if you fuck up their book.
Especially not so long after the man himself died. Like,
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
died in
that's
'74,
true,
right?
Yeah.
So Arthur Rankin Jr. and Jules Bass, they directed this together. They all the Rankin and Bass films are credited as them directing. Screenwriter was Romeo Muller, which is he's famous for all the collaborations with Rankin and Bass. Wrote 1 billion holiday specials, including but not limited to. Joel, why don't you read them?
Rudolph, the red-nosed reindeer.
Fuck yeah.
That good old one. Frosty, the snowman. Santa Claus is coming to town. There's a handful of
There's
these
so many
classics
others.
out there.
Yeah, like go to his Wikipedia page. He's literally too long to read, kind of shit.
Jack Frost.
Yep, there's another one.
All sorts of
Yep.
things.
Anything that has that powdery snow in it, All right. Well, now we're just going to have a little bit of an open discussion on the film, unscripted as it were. Guys, let's talk about, I suppose we were just talking about them. We might as well keep talking about them. Rankin and Bass. Holy shit. I mean, how many Rankin and Bass movies have you seen? Like 1 billion, right?
more
I
than
don't
I ever
think-
knew.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know. I haven't seen many, actually, looking at the list of them.
The-
well, I'm sorry. The Christmas ones.
Yeah,
yes.
that's what I mean. Yeah, the Christmas special ones.
A bajillion
Yeah,
and a half.
their features not so many, but we've all seen these. They're made for TV holiday specials, right?
Oh,
they
yeah.
they animated 3 generations of Christmas. Like
Right, and you
Insane.
can tell like that it's the same studio doing it just from the animation style from them all. It's like I always thought they looked kind of like uncannily similar, and it all makes sense now.
Yeah, same studio does it all.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, like we said before, I think it's kind of no one else is putting stuff out there like that today. Which,
No.
and I mean, not that they necessarily need to be, but I like how unique it is and how just instantly recognizable it is.
Yeah, and I love how a product of its time it is. It's very like I love 70s folk rock. Like it's my favorite category of music, right? Probably. And this movie is all about 70s folk rock soundtrack. Right?
Absolutely.
Like it sticks out like a fucking sore thumb in this movie. And it's, in my opinion, the best thing about the movie.
It's honestly like one of its charms, really.
Yeah. Yeah.
But also this movie in general, also being a product of its time, it's really dark. I just want to throw that in there.
Yeah.
Like it's like when I started watching it, it's got a darker tone than I remember it for it being a kids movie.
Yeah, it's doom and gloomy for sure at certain parts. And there's also like more threat of actual death than I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a part that I loved that stuck out to me where they're with the Goblin King, and before Gandalf comes and saves them, the Goblin King is like opens his mouth and is about to just like chomp a dwarf.
Yeah, he's about to eat a dwarf.
Terrifying.
Straight up. Yeah.
I love Gandalf's introduction when there's like lightning and thunder flashing, and he's like, Gandalf means me, and then I don't know,
super dramatic.
Yeah.
Something that I think is meant to be generally like kind of friendly and whimsical is all of a sudden super dramatic.
It always reminds me. I love Gandalf's introduction in this movie because if you don't remember, it's Bilbo smoking a pipe, and like as the smoke wafts over, you can see Gandalf just come around a tree, like your stoner friend that never buys weed but always smokes your weed. You know, he smells it and he goes, he's like, I smell that good. What's up, Bilbo? That's what's so funny, man. That's what it reminded me of. It reminded me of the scavenger stoner from Half Baked, the Snoop Dogg's character.
I think him and Bilbo I love their character designs in this, and I like Gollum a lot too with his massive eyes.
Very frog-like.
Very frog-like.
I like the Gollum character design in these ones more than Bakshi's for sure.
Yes, I'd agree.
Yeah.
I don't know how it went from being a humanoid to like a frog kind of looking dude, but
I mean,
that's an interesting evolutionary path to follow.
I think they just kind of ignore that fact.
Sure, yeah.
Purposely do not address it.
I just thought it was kind of funny. Like, he's got huge eyes and like just his body
in
profile.
the Hobbit
He even has a
too.
tail,
In
which
the Hobbit
hobbits don't
He's
have.
got like webbed fingers and toes and stuff like.
Yeah,
he's got some weird anatomical features that hobbits normally don't have. Which we talked about this a little bit earlier too. With all three of these, how many lines are straight up lifted from the book? Just
a lot.
Just straight up.
It's very faithful to the source material in that way. Like in that way, in particular, even.
Yeah, and I would say the unexpected party in this version is better than the Peter Jackson version in the live action one. Like how it captures the feel of that chapter with the song and the conversation and the map and all that stuff. It's so much more from the book in this one than that craptastic Hobbit film.
Mm-hmm.
I did wish in this I found myself wishing that some of the scenes were a little longer and that we had a little bit more, but I would always take quality over quantity. So I do think that I don't know. I would rather have it be shorter and great than what Peter Jackson did and elongate something that doesn't need to be.
Yeah, just really roll out that turd with a rolling pin, right? Like, why would you do that? Yeah.
Well, and at least with The Hobbit, it doesn't... I can't say the same for The Return of the King, but at least for The Hobbit, it feels like it was... like they didn't really explain away anything that, was important. All the things that... Like, it condensed it very well.
Mm-hmm.
In a way that still made sense. It was still true to it. They didn't introduce new ideas or anything. And I appreciate it. Like, I think that that is one of its like biggest strengths.
There's very little bullshit added.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any like bullshit added.
No, and that's what Rankin said in that interview. That he's like, we didn't add anything that was not there.
Yeah.
One thing that
which is going to be a little bit of a different case for the Return of the King, the sequel, which we'll get into at the end of the episode here.
One thing I was upset about is they made the trolls. I always loved when the trolls argued about how to cook the dwarves, and in this one they kind of like brought it up, and then one of them's just like, he's like, to each their own. We all can eat them in different ways. And
I think it's probably a little too graphic, honestly, to describe.
Well, and maybe it was a runtime thing too. But I was like, no, I want the trolls. I want them arguing with each other over how to cook the dwarves.
It's part of the fun, like conversation, part of the story.
Those trolls had big noses, like Carl Malden. Remember?
Carl
Malden, real strange kind of character design on those.
I feel like all these characters, like a large part of the character design, it really, I don't know if it shaped the way that people think about these sort of things back then, but like when I think of like what an old wizard, like things like maybe that my mom had when I was growing up and stuff like that, the style like really closely fits, or like something you'd see in like, I don't know, that 70s show, like it very much fits that. Like the whole time I was thinking of those little like toy trolls with the goofy hair and the football heads and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I think part of that goes back to them borrowing from I forget his name, Rackham, who used to do those like fairy so I think they were drawing from like a very recognizable like kind of image and
source.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about the animation a little bit. These homies became Studio Ghibli eventually. That's really interesting, right? I almost shat when I learned that when I was doing this episode.
The animation was done by them, but the art style, like if I remember reading the credits correctly, was not a Japanese name. So like the actual design of the characters and stuff, I think was
yeah, a lot of those. So the character designs were done by Rankin and Bass.
Yeah,
but they outsourced the actual motion animation part to Topcraft.
Right.
To do in Japan.
Okay, so yeah, I think, because I have things to say about the actual art, but the animation was done very well, I think. Like, it had enough frames to make things have, like, a good amount of movement to them. Like, it was believable enough, and it didn't have so much of the weird, didn't really fit in the scene animation that you will see in some older animations.
Yeah. I love how they dealt with violence in this movie.
Yeah.
It is very kid movie like.
I feel like there was music over top of a lot of it.
Yeah, and it was always just like a flash of a sword, and then the character
usually a flash, and the character like freezes and falls over, or sometimes like spins in circles until it disappears.
There was no gore or anything, right?
No,
that I remember. So
no. Which Bakshi's has gore. We'll talk about that after this. But the Rankin and Bass ones, no gore really.
They had a couple nice touches I liked. I loved Elrond's crown in this.
You liked that?
I
thought
liked
it was weird.
I thought it was weird.
I thought it looked cool.
I was like, who is this?
Things around his head.
He also had a beard. He also had a beard.
Yeah.
Not cool.
It's Elrond Christ. That's what. That's all I could think the whole time.
I liked the crown, and then I liked Smaug. I liked his how his eyes were like headlights almost when he was scanning.
that was cool.
That was pretty cool. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I always took issue with the Smaug, like the furry, like cat/dog looking Smaug. I
kind
don't know.
of did. Yeah,
looks like a fox in a way.
It looked a little too mammalian for my liking.
Yeah, mammalion's a good word for it, yeah. But yeah, Proto Ghibli guys, they seem to know what they're fucking doing. I see why they went on to I see now that like I read that Nausicaa was done by these guys, that makes total sense.
Yeah,
right?
the dots connect immediately.
Yeah, immediately. And that they went on to form Ghibli later. That's pretty fucking cool. Yeah, they also come back for Return of the King, so we'll talk more about them later.
But yeah, I think it's a very tight, well told story. Like I liked when there's a point in this where Gandalf tells Bilbo to keep a diary of all that they do, and then from then on Bilbo becomes the like voiceover narrator, and it's like him narrating his diary.
His little
but it's just like
journal.
nice little things to kind of
I know when
ease along the story.
We both laughed because we both write, so we know like the little writing tricks like that. We both laughed when that happened in the movie. Like, that's a cool way to keep the narrative going. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. My favorite things about this one were probably just how true it was to the book and the music. And then obviously I have a lot of sentimental feelings with this because it was like very tied to my childhood and my siblings. But in general, the music really sticks out to me. The Goblin Town song is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I also really liked that they included the part of the thrush in the movie.
Which
sometimes
is
that gets
always left out. Always left out.
Sometimes that shit gets left out.
The funny little bird song is great too.
Yep.
When they're, I don't know. Yeah, I think the music hits so hard too because they're using the lyrics from the book. So it's like, it just works really well.
It works super, super well.
Do you guys remember the contract that the dwarves drafted up for Bilbo?
Super short, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like 2 sentences long.
Very short.
There's like no real details. Just like you are signing up to be our thief and
never sign a contract like that, guys.
Yeah, because later in the movie, like when they send him in to go in to meet Smaug, they're like, "Oh well,
this is in your
it's
contract."
in your contract. It's like,
fucking where? Yeah,
where?
Yeah, like how Bilbo's like, I've saved you guys like 6 times already from
like,
shit.
Haven't I earned
and
my
you're
keep?
You're still making me do this.
Yeah.
But I loved when Bilbo's approaching Smaug's den for the first time, and they have like the greatest adventure, except it's kind of like a different version. It's a little slowed down playing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I love how they kept bringing that back.
That was another thing. I was reading that people said that the Rankin and Bass ones influenced Howard Shore as well, because the way he does the themes for each kind of character and place. The Rankin and Bass ones kind of do that, right? Like they have the Hobbit theme. It just like in the Return of the King later on, you get more like synths and stuff when you get to Mordor. It's just like it's all very
the
thematic.
chanting for the dwarves.
Yeah, it's all very thematic, and that Howard Shore's is like that as well. Yeah,
we talk about a couple of the negative things.
Yeah.
So we got some positive stuff. Let's kind of wrap it up this section here with some negatory things.
Personally, the things that I didn't like the most was the art of some of the characters. I hated how almost every single dwarf looked. I
can get behind that.
They look scary, man.
The faces were almost overdone. It's almost too much detail in some of them.
They're all like they're trying to draw every single wrinkle they could possibly have, and they're all super old looking, and it's
They
like
all
okay,
borderline grotesque.
yeah,
like-
borderline grotesque.
I love that. Yeah.
And like I also take issue with how Gandalf looked as well. I thought his the wizard, like he looked like a wizard, like he looked all fine there, but his his face and like how his beard basically like it framed his face all the way up and then to his eyebrows like a big circle, like he was he's a lion's mane or something.
Yeah.
Like, I thought it looked super goofy.
Yeah.
I didn't really care for it. It's a small thing in the grand scheme of it all, but it was a detractor for me.
So I will say, so I'll start with, I want to say a negative thing, but then I'll go back and say a positive thing.
Are we going to do compliment sandwiches here?
Yeah, I'll sandwich it because I don't like to talk shit about other people's art a lot of time, but it's kind of what I signed up to do right now. So, no, so for me, the weakest part of this film is the art. And you can probably chalk it up to like 1970s weirdness,
Yeah.
the drugs they were doing, the music they were listening to, whatever. I don't know, but it's sometimes just strange, at worst off-putting,
Yeah.
It can be a little off-putting.
Yeah.
Like some of the characters were really well done. Like as much as I don't like the Elrond crown thing, it was cool looking.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, like
Yeah.
we talked about Gollum already being like a really cool looking character. The orcs looked pretty dope.
Yeah.
Or goblins, I guess
Yeah.
they call
Goblins
them in this one.
That being said, positive thing. Do the sandwich, okay?
Yeah, yeah.
I think what I admire most about this film is the writing. The screenplay is concise as fuck. It is tight. It is really tight. It leaves out a lot, but it also does a great job keeping most of the moments that made The Hobbit what it is. Like the fact that we have a 78-minute runtime, and they kept the scene where Bilbo climbs to the top of Mirkwood and we see the butterflies.
That was
Yeah,
pretty.
yeah.
Like that's such a Hobbit-y Tolkien scene that they kept because it's so Tolkien-y, right? And that's the kind of thing that would get cut from most adaptations, especially if you're like, we have an hour and a half to tell this story.
Yeah, we don't need to
They
include
kept some of the
this.
whimsy.
Right. They exactly. And that's why, so this screenplay I think is just fucking awesome. I think, they did a bang up job with the writing on this one. Like I said, the art is kind of weird for me. I could take or leave the art, but the writing, holy shit. The music, holy shit. Yeah.
I kind of love the art. I think this movie has my favorite art out
style?
of the three. Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, I mean, it's the same art style as the Lord of the Rings one, isn't it?
No,
As
the Return of the King.
Or I'm sorry, the Return of the King one.
Honestly,
So, Return of the King, I had some issues with some of the
The art is
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I thought it was a
Yeah.
little
Okay,
better
okay.
overall, though.
in Return of the King.
Yeah,
Interesting.
See, he thinks the other way. We'll get there.
Yeah.
yeah, we'll get there.
Oh, yeah, I feel like I kind of hit upon my only complaint, and that's just that some scenes were kind of rushed or condensed. But yeah, like Danny said, they did a great job at, like, they literally hit every major moment of the book. So it's like,
Can't think of one they will left out.
I love the movie. It's not really a huge,
yeah.
Yeah, my general complaint was also the same. There are some moments that I would have liked more of. It covered ground really fast. They did completely cut out Beorn. That is one thing I
Beorn
noticed.
and the Arkenstone. Those are the
And the
only two
Arkenstone.
major
Yeah, that's
differences.
true.
Yeah, no Beorn and no Arkenstone. But otherwise, they got all the major themes and arcs in there.
I see why they cut out the Arkenstone though, because it's not really necessary to
It's really not.
Like they're all pissed off for other reasons.
Yeah,
you
the
know?
treasure hoard itself
Yeah.
and the kingdom
And the
are
dead
enough.
dragon
And
and
the
the-
dead-
yeah.
Bilbo-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bilbo and Thorin still kind of like fight with each other.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
have
they
their
do.
kinda-
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, and he says shit he regrets, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the death of Thorin in this one's sadder than I remember.
Yeah, it is
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
sad.
I remember it being sad in the book, but like it was very sad in the movie.
Yeah, but overall, I have a lot of very good memories with this one. I love this one a lot.
Yeah.
It has a special place in my heart. I do think the Lord of the Rings one builds on it, though, but we'll get to that.
Yeah.
Let's give it a rating,
I was
right?
gonna say, are we ready for ratings? Yeah.
So I would like to start.
This is a 5-star rating, by the way.
Yeah. Out of 5.
Out of 5.
So I'm rating this based on the fact that it is old, and I'd probably rate it lower if I compared it to more modern media.
Unfair, but okay.
Yeah, I know. But for its time, like I would give it a 4 out of 5. Like I think it nailed a lot of the things that it needed to. It didn't do anything too crazy, and it stayed true to itself.
Yeah. I am gonna go ahead and give this one a 4.8 out of 5.
Oh man,
I had a 5 on here.
God damn.
But here's the thing, like it's a damn near. So 5 is a perfect film. It's damn near fucking perfect. But the only thing, the 0.2 deduction is for the art style. That's the only thing. But the writing is so good, the music is so good, everything else is so friggin' good that this movie just fucking rules. And I highly suggest it to anyone who likes The Hobbit or just likes Rankin and Bass shit, even. Or yeah, just watch it. It's great.
How about you, Joel? What do you think?
I think I'm also going to do a 4 out of 5. It's really good. I enjoy it, and it's got a special place in history, but it definitely wasn't perfect. And I take a lot of umbrage with their design of Smaug, which is like a key figure in the story of The Hobbit.
It was funny. I remember when this is so long ago now, but like 2010, 2011, when like the concept art for the Hobbit movie was coming out, I remember you were very nervous about how they were going to do Smaug because you hated it.
Is that why we were all so worried about it? Because of Joel?
Because of Joel. He was he was like he can't be a wyvern or whatever.
Yeah, he had to have 4 legs plus 2 wings, not front legs are wings like a wyvern.
Yeah, so that was the thing that you took umbrage with in a lot of adaptations and art.
I admit it's more probably anatomically likely, like it makes more sense to do it that way. Evolutionary,
fake evolutionary wise.
Yeah, it makes way more sense to have 2 back legs and then 2 front legs that are wings. But I don't know, something about the medieval dragon that I think of with the 4 legs and the 2 wings. It's just kind of iconic. That's what Smaug is supposed to be. He's supposed to be a long worm.
4 legs good, 2 legs bad. In the Animal Farm. All right, Joe, what do you think? Your last but not least,
4.5.
4.5
out of 5. Yeah. I loved it. And I have nostalgia from a kid, but I still think it holds up. Like, it still is a great, fun watch. It's only 78 minutes.
Yeah.
Makes
Watch it on
easy.
the toilet, you know what I mean?
On the toilet.
Yeah, like
it's a long poop.
The long dookie.
Danny said with Rankin and Bass enjoyers is like, there's a lot of animation fans who love and appreciate these movies who aren't even necessarily like huge Lord of the Rings nerds, but they just appreciate like the classic animation.
Yeah, my brother-in-law Joey, y'all know him. He's not a Tolkien nerd by any means, but I was at dinner with him the other night, and I was like, "Hey, you know anything about Rankin and Bass?" Because I was writing about this episode.
Yeah.
Anyway, we had a conversation about Rankin and Bass and Topcraft and Ghibli and all that stuff, and it was just I love my brother-in-law. Sorry,
he's a real good dude. Shout out to Joey.
Shout out to Joey. But like you said, Rankin and Bass fans, animation fans can love it.
All right, so that was The Hobbit.
The Hobbit, yeah. Now the moment everyone's been waiting for.
Yeah, something a little more controversial.
I don't know about that.
Well, there seem to be a lot of mixed like opinions.
There is
this.
mixed opinions on this film. So this is 1978's The Lord of the Rings, directed by Ralph Bakshi.
Yeah, a bit of a change here from the last one.
Yeah. Just as some general info, Lord of the Rings, 1978 is an animated film adapting the first 2 novels of the Lord of the Rings. It's famous for blending traditional cell animation and rotoscope technique to create a unique artistic style, and boy, is it unique.
Unique is a word.
It's pretty
for
interesting.
It.
I think it did pretty well in a lot of places. It looked really weird in some spots, but
it's definitely of its time.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Mm-hmm. So let's talk about the animation a little bit. It was done by Bakshi Productions out of L.A. Started by Ralph Bakshi. He does have a little bit of a history of animating, which we'll get into here in a little bit. There's also a decent amount of subcontracting of animation done to Topcraft. Ironically enough, the company from the last film as well.
They're in all 3.
So they're all doing it.
They might have been doing this at like the same. It's just funny to imagine like half of the company having fun animating The Hobbit, and then the other half just like no nonsense at their desks animating Bakshi's serious Lord of the Rings.
This is the serious one over here. Like half of the room is working on serious Tolkien, the other half is working on
one half of the office is having a good time. They're like kind of chatting, some giggles. The other half is like clearly depressed.
Yeah,
very serious.
They're passing joints with a guitar over there and shit. They're having a great time. Glenn Yarborough's over there. Yeah,
Glenn Yarborough stopped by, but he's only seen this half of the company.
I was thinking about doing something like this.
I do feel like you can tell between the 3 movies how they advanced as a company, though. Like with the animation, because I would argue that this movie's animation is better, or at least a step above a little bit than the Hobbit ones.
This animation style takes more talent, I would probably say.
I would probably,
given the mixed media and
agree.
stuff.
So let's talk a little bit about the technique we're all referring to here. It's called the rotoscoping technique. So this unique visual style that appears is actually live action footage integrated in with animation. Okay, how the fuck do we do that, right?
They're not using computers.
No, this is all optical effects. What you do is you shoot that shit on film, first of all, probably 35, maybe 16 mil, right? Just actual film, right? And then you put that film, you develop it as you normally would. You put it through a machine called a rotoscope, which is it makes photographs out of film frames, right? So it's separating each frame, making a unique photograph. Okay, so then we lay those photographs under traditional animation cells, and they are traced by hand, and they're hand drawn and are hand painted in, frame by motherfucking frame.
Onto film?
Onto traditional animation cell.
That would take a long time.
It took an incredibly long time.
A lot of man hours.
Yeah, a lot of man hours. They subcontracted that shit to people all over the world. I didn't even list all the countries that they.
Yeah, this took. He was working on this for years and years.
Yeah. It's crazy to think about how animation used to be like that. Every individual frame drawn by hand.
Yeah, I mean
what
Hobbit,
poor
Rankin,
son
and
of
Bass,
a bitch had to sit in a closet for how long? Just tracing these out onto little cells. Like
the Rankin and Bass Hobbit took 5 years production, like all together. It's crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So the rotoscoping technique, what it does is it brings a more natural animation to things that are traditionally hard to animate.
Yeah, like specifically it comes into play with like bodily movements. They look way more natural if you're rotoscoping over like an actual moving person.
Because it's an actual moving person.
Yeah,
right?
all of the movements look way more natural than if you're just kind of guessing at how the leg strides might look.
A lot of the horses in this are rotoscoped because horses are really hard to animate, turns out, right?
Well, and I think with some of this animation, the characters didn't have a lot of shading, like in general, because like shading can really help to give something depth,
Yeah.
So like if you're looking at an arm moving and it doesn't have any shading, like the fingers could blend in with the hand as it moves or something like that. Right. So like
you're saying it's easier to animate that way, like.
Saying that like doing this can give more of that visual fidelity
gotcha.
Because it has without needing to put in all the shading. But the result of some of these like live action parts, as I'll call them, they look kind of gritty. Like the way that they drew them. Back
when
on.
They actually incorporate the live action directly, because they do some almost direct live action. I mean, they do a little bit of like rotoscoping over it, but it's like with orcs and things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's definitely some parts where you can tell like they do a transition from like doing the sort of like live action recorded stuff to just straight animation, and you can see a pretty stark difference because like how do I put it? There's like more like grainy details in the actual filmed stuff versus the animated parts.
To me, and it makes it extremely incongruent to me. Like it's very noticeably two different.
Yeah,
like it would be like if I took a 16 millimeter print of a movie and spliced it together with another shittier 16 millimeter print. Like you'd be able to tell the difference.
Yeah,
and you'd be like, I'm watching two different movies here.
There's a specific part where Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli all run into like one of the castles or whatever, and they close the door behind them. And you can so it switches like between the two different animation styles. And Gimli looks way too tall in the live version than he's supposed to look.
Yeah.
Right, like the proportions are just a little different.
Yeah. So that's that rotoscoping technique. The only real way to understand it is to watch the movie.
It's definitely pretty cool. Like it's a little weird.
Yeah, it's cool.
It's creative.
Talent,
for
right?
sure. Yeah, talent. Exactly.
It would, honestly, it would be like, I don't know. The only way I'd watch this movie again is if I were like on mushrooms. I think like that's like because that's the kind of movie it is. Like it's visually interesting.
It wasn't that bad,
but I wouldn't watch it for a story. Anyway, like I think it's super visually interesting.
The rotoscoping is like it's very impressive what they did, but I feel like their reach kind of exceeded their grasp
It's
a little bit.
A good way to put it, yeah.
It reminds me a little bit of the early like Robert Zemeckis,
Polar
Express and
shit.
stuff like that, where it's like it
Weird.
has like a very distinct visual style, but I feel like it's not quite. I don't know.
Doesn't quite come together.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. So anything else we want to say about rotoscoping?
Nah, let's go move on.
Let's move on. Okay, so let's move on to voice casts. Right? There's, like I said, there's a few notable people in each of these movies.
Yeah, something I didn't know. First and foremost, Sir John Hurt.
Yeah, the voice of Aragorn, the Dunedain. Right?
That was super cool. I hadn't really seen anything outside of him doing Doctor Who, so like that was a treat.
Have you not seen Alien?
I don't know.
Yeah, we watched Alien
I
together.
maybe have
Remember?
seen it once.
I mean, I guess
Chest burster.
he's
I mean,
not in
but
it
that happens in more than
too
one
long.
movie.
Yeah, but it's the first time it happens in the series. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's all bloody and it's
Yeah,
John Hurt that it happens.
His is the iconic chest burster scene. Yes.
Ah, yes.
It's funny because he's only in the first like not even quarter of the movie, but iconic.
He makes
scene.
an impression.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a John Hurt, Sir John Hurt, obviously. He's a knight. Wildly famous English actor. Director David Lynch once described him as, quote, the greatest actor in the world.
I think he can make that argument.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
RIP to both those motherfuckers, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. They both, David recently passed, if you're listening to this. So some famous John Hurt roles. You might recognize him from Midnight Express, Elephant Man. Holy shit, Elephant Man is a sad movie. Whoa, check that out if you want to cry. Alien, right? The Ridley Scott movie. The 1984 movie, if you've seen the adaptation of George Orwell's 1984. Kind of a bizarre movie. I haven't seen it since I was in high school, but John Hurt is really good in it.
I don't think I'd even heard that
Yeah,
existed.
it's good. We should watch it sometime. And then he's also he plays Ollivander in the early Harry Potter movies, the Wand Maker, right?
Oh, interesting.
Also,
Yeah.
Hunger Games. He's Snow, the big.
Oh, is he in
big-
Hunger
The
Games?
big leader of everything. Yeah.
Oh, really? Damn.
he's a lifer.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, he worked his whole life. Yeah.
He's one of these like highly respected British actors that's not afraid to do genre. Right? Do genre, guys. It's acting just the same, right?
Yeah, he even did. I think Trevor already mentioned Doctor Who for a bit. Like,
Yeah.
he just jumped on
Yeah,
in there.
he plays the wartime doctor from the Christmas special from years ago.
That was
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
He did a great job.
Since
Wasn't it the 50th anniversary special?
I think
Oh,
it was
no,
the
it
50th
was.
anniversary.
You're right,
Yeah.
Trev. Thank you. There's probably some nerd that's real mad.
Someone out there is
That wasn't a
screaming,
Christmas special,
"What
you
the
dumb son of a
fuck?"
bitch. That was the 50th anniversary
Okay, the
special.
50th anniversary special was
So
a lot
good.
of fun. As someone who really loved Tennant,
It was
and,
so
like,
good.
Also, definitely enjoyed Matt Smith too. Like that was the
Yeah.
combination was great.
That was one of the
I loved
best
it.
like mashups of all time.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. And John Hurt is a big reason why that shit
It's
kicks
true.
ass.
Oh, yeah.
He was a great contrast to their goofiness.
Yes. He's very serious.
Mhm.
Very
Very.
serious, him. The wartime doctor. Yeah. Wow. John Hurt, RIP.
I'm gonna
Wonderful.
say I didn't
Gone too
love
soon.
him as Aragorn though.
No, that being said, as much as John Hurt is awesome and we love him, I didn't really. I thought his performance was a little lackluster.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say his performance was lackluster. I feel like he was a little wasted on this.
Gotcha.
voice
The
acting is a
character
totally
itself.
different game. than-
What?
Yeah.
Like voice acting is a
Right,
totally different
yeah,
game.
Right.
So.
Yeah. Totally.
The voice acting in this movie, we can get into it later, but Gollum was
Atrocious.
I think my least favorite part of this movie was Gollum. and
Gollum
the
was
voice
bad.
acting.
That
the
was pretty
character,
wild.
Yeah.
Gollum was bad. Okay, so another famous person that's in this movie is also from another famous movie from around this time. Anthony Daniels from Star Wars. C-3PO. He plays Legolas in this film.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Okay. I can hear that now.
I can hear it now, like thinking back on it, but I did not know
Yeah.
that. That blew my mind.
Did not
Yeah.
pick up on that.
And Philip Stone, Joe probably knows this dude more than you two guys. The dude that does the voice of Theoden. He's in all these fucking Stanley Kubrick movies. A Clockwork Orange, Barry Lyndon in The Shining. Remember, he's the dude in The Shining that the waiter that like killed his family or whatever.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, yeah,
Who
yeah.
was he in A Clockwork Orange?
In A Clockwork Orange, he's Alex's dad. Remember? He's the
oh,
one.
really? That's
we had
funny.
we had to rent out your room, son. Sorry. Yeah. Yeah. Stanley Kubrick films. Yeah, Philip Stone. He's in all those films. Check them all out. Score and music. Should we move on?
Yes.
Score and music. Who did it, guys?
Who done it? It was Leonardo Roseman. It was Leonard Roseman.
Yeah,
Rosenman.
Rosenman, and he's famous for a few different movies. Actually, a lot of different movies. He did a shitload of different movies, you guys. East of Eden and Rebel Without a Cause. Those are both 1955 James Dean movies, because James Dean was only in, 3 movies, right? I think 3 or 4 movies before he died. Those are both from 1955. I have seen Rebel Without a Cause. It's really good. East of Eden is a Elia Kazan movie, which I have not seen, but it's based on Steinbeck, which is one of my favorite authors, right? And also this one here. Beneath Planet of the Apes, 1970. I just want to say, fuck everyone who hates this movie. If you hate Beneath Planet of the Apes, you suck. I'm sorry, all right?
I think the only time I've ever seen it is on TV, and I didn't understand.
It's so good.
I didn't understand what was happening.
Beneath Planet of the Apes is way better than anyone gives it credit for. The ending is almost as good as the first movie's ending, which is one of the best endings of all time. Right.
Damn. Okay.
So
Okay.
I think, yeah. And me and Ruru actually watched this this probably must have been a decade ago at this point. But we started, we watched through the old Planet of the Apes movies, and we were blown away by how good Beneath Planet of the Apes was, and in no small part due to Leonard Rosenman's amazing score. But yeah, so what about this? Joe, you had some thoughts about the music in this film, didn't you?
Well, yeah, I was going to say, so they asked Bakshi about the Hobbit soundtrack album, and there's a quote where he said, Lord of the Rings is not going to have any song for the sake of a record album, growled Bakshi, is in the... I just thought that was funny that he was so clearly not...
God
but yeah,
damn.
He's like, I don't want a single on this shit. I don't want any of these songs to chart.
Not doing any
I
musicals
missed,
in this.
watching it, though, I missed the Rankin and Bass songs, because it's so serious, and there's no humor in it, and it's just very this is a serious work of art.
Well, I mean,
and
Lord of the Rings, the books, and The Hobbit naturally do contain songs.
Mm-hmm.
And I think part of it might have been
There's quite a few songs and poems throughout. Yeah, I would say.
Yeah, it's part of the fantasy whimsicalness of it.
I think part of it was I think he wanted animation to be taken seriously as an adult art form, and which I get and understand, but I missed some of that, I don't know, carefreeness of the other.
Yeah. And I think a lot of that is due to Bakshi's background. Let's talk about him for a second here.
I just want to say,
Yeah.
I feel the total opposite
Oh,
that
shit.
Joe does.
Oh, really?
We got.
I was pretty happy to not have a lot of the lighthearted or any just random songs in general, because I guess I do like a real serious cartoon or anime or whatever, and a lot of modern stuff doesn't really do the sort of sing-along stuff that I like, at least not anything that I consume, aside from K-pop Demon Hunters, which is its own separate thing.
Well, that's
that's a musical though, that's part of the point of it.
My daughter loves it. Yeah,
I also
that's
I
a
think
cultural
it's great.
phenomenon of its own.
Yeah, but I was kind of pleased, especially because I watched this one last. I saw the Return of the King, and it has a lot of musical stuff in it, and it kind of started to drag on me personally.
Okay.
I suppose you watched The Hobbit and then The Return of the King sort of back to back.
I watched them all days apart, but yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
See, I guess I watched them in a different order with the Lord of the Rings in the middle, so I was almost refreshed to get back to the Rankin and Bass. But anyway, we'll get there.
Well, okay. That difference in tone is due to who Ralph is as an artist, I think, and let's talk about him a little bit. Director Ralph Bakshi, right? He's an American animator and filmmaker. He's known for pushing the boundaries of what animation could be. He's also credited for being a pioneer in the adult animation genre, which obviously covers more mature subject matters than previous animated endeavors, right? He's famous for the most wildly famous of his things is Fritz the Cat from 1972. That's his debut picture. That is I've never seen it. I've been meaning to watch it since I was a kid, but it's an not NC-17. It was an X-rated cartoon from back in the day. So it got that famous X rating. It's full of drugs and sex and all fun.
Yeah, I think it was supposed to be a black comedy, or I don't know if blaxploitation is the right term for that, what it was, but it used a lot of really heavy stereotypes for that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah,
yeah, and I mean it even got banned for a while, from what I remember.
Yeah, it's one of those movies that's often banned from places. I mean, technically, being X-rated is kind of means you're banned. Like, you're not allowed to advertise your film on TV or radio if you are X-rated, or at least back in the 70s.
Yeah. I mean, with the internet nowadays, you can find anything anywhere. But
yeah, everyone knows who Art the Clown is, right? It's no mystery, right? He's in unrated films. Like,
can I ask the difference between X and NC-17?
So they changed it to NC-17 somewhere in the 80s or 90s.
So they're basically
the same rating.
The same thing as like an era thing.
Yeah, it depends on when you're talking about. So X, they stopped using X because I think a lot of people felt it was indicative of like pornography.
XXX,
right? But it's not really. Like, plenty of X-rated films aren't pornographic.
Right.
They're just a little bit more
honestly,
graphic.
Okay.
Really
real violent.
Yeah.
That just goes to show the popularity and strength of the porn industry.
Yeah.
Once again.
But yes, so Fritz the Cat, Heavy Traffic, 1973, and Wizards, 1977. Those are the three you will always hear about when you talk about Ralph Bakshi.
So let's move on to some of the screenwriting, huh?
Yeah, let's do that. Screenwriting.
Yeah, we got one of the people responsible. We got Chris Conkling.
Yeah, Chris Conkling. He wrote the original draft of the screenplay. He was honestly just a huge Tolkien nerd, and he pulled some strings. I was listening in the documentary on the DVD that I have. He basically pulled some strings and kind of weaseled his way into being able to write this. And then the Peter S. Beagle, who is a much more experienced writer, he came on to fluff it up a little bit after Conkling wrote the first draft. So
We probably could have used a little more of that.
Probably.
But
well, Peter S. Beagle, he's a super accomplished fantasy novelist. He has won the Hugo and the Nebula Award.
Wow.
God damn. All right.
Which is fucking wild, right? That's like in the sci-fi community, like Hugo, Nebula. Those are the two big ones, right?
Hold on. Does this say for a novelette?
For a novelette, yeah.
It's like a short novel, right?
Yeah,
like a novella.
Yeah, wow. So he won the Hugo in 2006 and Hugo and Nebula in 2006, 2007, respectively, for Two Hearts, which is a companion piece / sequel to his most famous work. That's right, The Last Unicorn.
Oh,
which was adapted by who else but Rankin and fucking Bass.
Okay,
this shit will not leave us alone, you guys.
I think that's something I got to check out. Actually, that's cool to know.
You should organize a Discord watch party for The Last Unicorn.
That would be fun.
I don't know if I'll make it, but you guys.
I won't show up.
I'd like to watch it. Honestly, I don't think I've ever seen it.
It's fucking weird. Yeah, I'd watch it with you guys.
All right, get on the Discord if you want us to watch it. We'll find a way.
Yeah, we'll watch Last Unicorn. Fuck it, we'll do it. So speaking of Hugo and Nebula, there were some awards associated with Bakshi's Lord of the Rings. Believe it or not. I don't mean to be a dick. Like, I just didn't like this movie very much.
It's all right. It's okay.
It's fine. It's a fine film.
I liked it more. Like, okay, I ended up watching it after hearing your guys' opinions.
And we were kind of down.
I went in with some low expectations.
And you came out
and I was like, actually, this is nowhere near as bad as these guys says it is. Like, listeners, don't think that this is a terrible bad movie. Like,
no, it's not bad.
It's not bad.
It's a little long.
It is too long. They honestly had to cover a lot of material. It's impressive they got as far as they did in that runtime.
Yeah, it's damn near 2.5 hours long. It's a fucking animated film, so it's wild.
That's pretty long for its time, isn't it?
Well, for an animated movie, it's long in general. I mean, even over 2 hours is uncommon.
Covering the two parts is technically covering 4 books. Like,
it's
in
true,
one film.
There's
That's pretty good. They did
two books per book.
They covered a lot of ground.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I feel bad. I don't know if it's like a terrible movie, but I also just feel like Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings almost like
made it obsolete.
Kind of like renders it null and void.
It's kind of like the animated film as the first draft.
Exactly.
Almost,
because PJ took a lot. It seems almost scene by scene in some places,
which is like it's a huge honor to Ralph Bakshi and the movie that he did that. But
100%.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about a few of these awards. So, Bakshi's Lord of the Rings was nominated for Best Dramatic Presentation at the 1979 Hugo Awards, but it didn't win. Unfortunately.
Yeah, it had some pretty stiff competition.
It was stiff
that year.
this year. Check this out. The winner was Superman, the Richard Donner film, right? Classic.
Of course, Superman's going to win.
And then one of my favorite horror films of all time. And this movie kicks ass. Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Mm-hmm. Philip Kaufman, the remake of the 56 or 54, 56, whatever.
Oh, no kidding. We watched that one.
Yeah, with Donald Sutherland.
Yeah.
Which we were talking about on the break.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
great. I remember that. That was good.
Donald
Canada's
Sutherland.
best. Canada's national treasure. Donald Sutherland.
Oh, and it says here Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy was another one?
Yeah, that was the famous BBC radio series from 1978.
Oh, I didn't know
that people say is
crazy.
fantastic. I've never heard it, but I've heard it's awesome. I love that book though.
Oh, that's cool. I
Yeah.
didn't know that.
Yeah, so it had some stiff competition. I mean, some of these are Invasion of the Body in Superman, like you know what I mean, like stiff competition.
At that point, it's surprising maybe that it was nominated at all. Like,
yeah. It was also another. It was also nominated for a Saturn Award, which is another sci-fi genre award, for best fantasy film, and it was beat by Sidney Lumet's The Wiz,
never
The
heard
Wiz.
which
That's a
honestly,
play on the Wizard of Oz, right? That's
So The Wiz is a
The Wiz
all-black cast musical version of The Wizard of Oz.
That sounds interesting,
It is interesting.
but
I mean, I don't really like musicals in general. I'm not a fan of The Wiz. I was going to say, I wrote in the outline, I'm not sure which of these movies I like less, but how the fuck how did the Body Snatchers lose to The Wiz? That's what I want to know. What the hell? Anyway. Yeah, and then also Bakshi himself for Best Director got a Saturn Award, but he lost, rightfully so, to Philip Kaufman from Body Snatchers.
man, he should have waited a year or two to release this movie.
Yeah, right. All right, guys. Well, that's kind of the end of our info section. Let's do a little bit of open discussion again.
So we talked about the animation style a bit earlier with the rotoscope technique.
Rotoscope. So
I think it was cool. It seemed to be kind of like pioneering for its time and like doing what it did. I think there's definitely some parts of the movie where it works a lot better than others.
true.
Like in the beginning when they're at Bree and they're like, "Oh, sing us a Hobbit song, Mr. Underhill or whatever."
Yeah.
And so they it was a combination of doing the regular animating and then the rotoscope animating with like the all the background characters were like the live action recorded rotoscope technique, and like it was so friggin' obvious that there was a difference between the characters that it was uncanny. It was super strange. Especially with like how they animated, because you can tell that the live actors they were just had more frames and more movement than the actual.
That's why I feel like
animated
this would
Hobbits.
be a trippy movie to watch on mushrooms or something, because like that juxtaposition of like the two realities that are happening at the same time.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of baffling. Yeah.
It's a really cool thing, and like it's enjoyable, but it is also jarring. Like if you were going into this thinking like, oh, I'm gonna be getting like if this was like an anthology, right? You expect to see multiple different animation styles in each like film or whatever that's in the anthology, but it's like mixing them together like this just kind of throws you off a little bit.
There are some weird facial animations in this too.
There were some,
I remember when Legolas got introduced, I was like, this is like Timu Legolas.
Dude, he was
Timu
like
Legolas.
the most anime-looking character with his big-ass eyes. and,
Those
like,
eyes were crazy.
he looks so happy, too. The smile on his face, just like, wow.
I really didn't like a lot of the character design in this. I thought Gollum looked really weird, and then
Gollum looked weird.
Gollum looked like
Pippin looked
I
weird
don't know
as
if
fuck.
this is just me, but like I felt like Treebeard and the Balrog were like smaller than I envisioned.
I
don't
could
know.
know
The
that.
Balrog,
Yep.
I was going to say this is the only one that I felt the Balrog was probably appropriately sized.
Really?
Because the Peter Jackson one's way too big. We talk about that.
See, maybe
on several
that's why
occasions.
but it was just weird.
We're used to
seeing-
the monster big
Yeah.
one, but realistically, Balrogs were probably we said like what 3 meters high, something like that.
Something like that,
Yeah, the Balrog looked kind of funny. It was literally like a stiff model that just kind of like flew around. Whoosh.
Yeah, the Balrog
also the
was
fact
lame.
that it flew. The fact that the Balrog
Yeah.
flew bothered me.
It
I
bothered
just want
me
to say
too.
that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'll get some of my negative things off my chest to begin with.
Yeah, go for it.
I wasn't a big fan of the combo of the live action and the more animated things. I feel like it kind of pulled me out of the experience more often than not. And then, a lot of the designs were not my favorite. Specifically, Sam, I felt kind of offended for Sam. Like they made Sam look like
a fucking idiot.
his
in this movie.
eyes were like not were not always, like
he's cockeyed.
he literally looked like he had a stroke and then got punched in the face.
Oh my god!
Like
That is literally. I'm like not even. Yeah, I'm not even mad at that.
I was offended for Sam. I did not appreciate that.
They made him like
He's always
a little
saying
puppy.
dumbass shit too. Like,
Yeah.
I hate. Yeah.
Also, they killed Bill the pony.
Yeah, that was fucked
What
up.
the fuck?
And they
Straight up.
they make sure to mention that he's dead too.
Yeah, they're like, no.
right. Yeah,
the
during-
Watcher got
The
him.
Watcher, yeah, right when they're running into Moria, like they just, I realized as they're running inside, I was like, oh shit, Bill's still there. And then you see like the tentacles kind of go toward Bill, and
Yeah,
then they
he's
cut
like,
to them running inside, and
"Sorry, Bill."
Sam's like, poor Bill, and I was like, oh my god, they killed Bill the pony.
Dude, you know what I noticed about this? That I think is just kind of funny. Why is the water so dirty? Did you notice that the Bruinen looked like the mighty Mississippi? Like it looked muddy as fuck.
Muddy.
I always assumed that, and then also the Anduin also muddy. It's not. It's
Very
they're not.
gross.
They're not blue colored. They're like a silty brown.
A little more
Kinda
realistic, maybe.
I guess.
There's too much
yeah.
farming in northern Middle Earth. All
Yeah,
the rivers are polluted
So
and gross.
I also missed to go back to something Peter Jackson did really well is he gave so many orcs like really distinctive faces and like personalities, and in
That's
this they
that's
all
all
have the
gone.
same
Faceless.
kind of like faceless, which I guess I get what he was going for,
They're
but
almost silhouettes with fangs.
Yeah. But you're right. He characterizes Peter Jackson characterizes all his orcs that all of them that have like plot importance. They all have characterization.
I do think it was kind of neat though. Like I feel like a lot of the orc scenes were some of those live action ones, but they gave them all like bright glowing red eyeballs.
The
Yeah.
glowing eyes look cool. I
That was
like
pretty
that.
neat.
Yeah, I mean, I think the coolest part of this movie is the Battle of Helm's Deep.
Yeah.
That's the trippiest fucking like if I were peeking on the mushrooms, I'd be wanting to watch that part of the movie because that is a fucking fever dream. It's honestly undescribable, that scene. You just got to watch it. It's kind of it has to just it's something that happens to you. You know what I
You
mean?
have to
Like
absorb it in the moment.
exactly.
And there's some blood and stuff in it too.
I like the
it's
blood.
more
There
violent.
is a little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
It is definitely more violent.
the orcs have purple blood though.
They bleed like grape jelly.
Yeah, it does look like grape jelly.
So that's one way to avoid a higher rating.
It's
Smucker's
grape.
jelly.
I did like I think my favorite character design in this was the ring wraiths. And
They were cool.
I did love the scene on the road where they meet the ring wraith, and that's like Peter Jackson.
Took all of that. Yeah,
There was like so many moments in my notes where I'm like, Peter Jackson copied this. Peter Jackson copied
Same.
this.
Yep.
Yeah.
Same.
The
You can
wraiths
see-
looked like zombies, like because they kind of shambled around and they had their
Yeah.
arms
Yeah.
out,
Yeah.
kind of like
It had like a very
fingers
it felt very
hanging, like-
unnatural.
But that
Yeah.
is almost
Even-
a little more book-like, because in the book they like get down on the ground and they like sway back and forth and do
Yeah, they
weird
kinda do a
unnatural
weird,
things. So
unnatural
it was
movement.
kind of like a step towards the book style.
Ring wraiths meets Ringu, like
Ring-
yeah, that's funny.
Ringu wraiths.
Ringu Ray.
Ah.
The last major gripe I guess I want to harp on was the mispronunciations.
Yeah, they
Oh
really
my
need to read the Elvish
goodness.
pronunciation key in the back of the Silmarillion.
Well, hold-
Celeborn instead of Celeborn,
Yeah.
and then Aruman
Minus
instead of
Tirith.
Saruman, and then minus Tirith, not Minas Tirith, and then Muria. Like these are things that they have.
Muria?
Yes, these are things I rewound and made sure they said it multiple times this way. Muria.
Yeah, I literally have in my notes soft C again, exclamation point, exclamation point.
Instead of Edoras, they said Adoras.
Yeah.
Grima was like Greamy or something.
Grima. They said
Grima, yeah.
Grima. It's funny because
Honestly,
like,
that makes more. I mean, he's a grimy character, so like I could see maybe what they're going for, at least with that one.
yeah.
But my least favorite was Theodan.
Theodan, that one bothered me a lot. Dude, I also want
King
to.
Theoden.
I was just looking through my notes here and like
Are you sure that wasn't the Return of the King?
I think it was in both.
Both? Okay.
They both,
Because I
I'm pretty
remember
sure
the
they
Return
both
of the
said
King having
Theoden.
some
Yeah.
pretty egregious mispronunciations.
Yeah,
too.
yeah. it
We'll
did.
get to it, but yeah,
We'll get
okay.
there too. We'll get there too.
It's funny that I'm looking through my notes here and all the things that the Peter Jackson took out. I'm looking at the bed fake out in Bree.
Yeah.
Oh, that was cool.
That's from this, apparently. I always thought that was straight from the Proud Foot's Proud Feet line.
Oh
It's from
yeah,
this.
I liked that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
yeah.
things, like moments like that where like having seen the PJ trilogy first, I look at it, so that like made this like, oh, I recognize that, which I think is part of the enjoyment I got out of it. Had I seen this first and then watched PJ's, I probably would be like, oh, well, PJ just did this better. Like,
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
And almost every single time, like if you make a comparison, well, PJ just did it better.
Exactly. That was
the
my
Frodo
in
that
my
PJ
Is that your
conclusion,
takeaway?
Yeah.
the Frodo that PJ crafted out of Elijah Wood sounded and acted a lot like the Frodo in this one. Like
Yeah,
I could see.
yeah.
I could see the inspiration.
Yeah.
heavily.
Kind of Samwise as well, as far as like
Mhm.
how he talks and stuff. Except he wasn't such a dummy.
Dumbass.
I put that I feel the same way about Sweetback's Badass Song
Okay,
from
please.
1971 as I do
Thank you
this
for bringing
movie.
this shit up. Thank you for
Mario Van Peebles.
Melvin Van Peebles.
Melvin Van Peebles.
Melvin Van
Sorry.
Peebles.
Sorry,
so
Melvin.
we recently watched this movie by Melvin Van Peebles called Sweetback's Badass Song, and it's allegedly it's an important film. Is it a good film? Probably not. Will I ever watch it again? Probably not. But here's the thing: like you're saying, it kind of set the blaxploitation genre. Like it started like a thing. Like this
Yeah.
led to.
And you saw, when you're watching that movie, you can, like, if you were a blaxploitation filmmaker who doesn't exist yet, but you were watching that, there's so much about Sweetback's Badass Song that you can pull from to be inspired by, and that's
Yeah.
interesting. And
I mean, yeah, Gordon.
but yeah, it's not really a great film at the end of the day, in my opinion, which is what I feel like Peter Jackson almost did with this, where he took the best parts of this, the best visuals, some of the characters, and he just enhanced them with his
Yeah.
trilogy.
So it's kind of like Gordon Parks coming along and seeing Sweetback's Badass Song and making Superfly.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, okay. Yeah.
So I do appreciate a lot of what this movie does. I just didn't really enjoy watching it at the end of the day. I just
Yeah.
Same.
Can I throw what's going to be a hot take?
What's
Yeah.
that?
Between us, anyway.
Yeah.
I think I enjoyed the overall animation style and the actual look of everything more than the other two films.
Oh, that's
Okay.
that's a hot take.
Yeah.
All right.
That's a
Like,
hot
like
take.
even with the rotoscoping, like I think it seemed like it was done pretty well. There's some inconsistencies, but I just liked like the design of the characters more. Like I liked how Gandalf looked like a lot more. Compared to the other two.
Yeah.
I think Frodo looked totally fine. One of the things that was really jarring about like The Hobbit and The Return of the King, like a lot of the characters had what I'll call like teardrop eyes, right? Where like
Yeah.
they came to a point at their forehead instead of like where most people's eyes come to points on the sides.
On the sides.
And like I get that that's kind of a more of a cartoony look, but I didn't really like it.
Okay.
And how they did that. So I really enjoyed the animation.
So you like
style
this
of this
the more realistic.
Not necessarily the more realistic stuff, because like Frodo wasn't very realistic looking, but
Sure.
I like how the hobbits were drawn in this, despite the Samwise grievances that we have. I like how the characters were designed in general. I mean, Aragorn looked fucking butt fugly, but
it's some real shorts on.
Yeah. How
the
did
short shorts were kind of fun though.
how did they
Showing leg.
they planned on going all the way to Mordor with like both him and Boromir are wearing short skirts,
Oh yeah.
like man skirts.
There was, I feel like there was a point you actually saw up Aragorn's skirt when he
Yeah,
started
there was
running.
definitely a scene where I laughed where there was an animation that I was like, we would have saw that dude's balls. Like,
Oh, yeah.
like straight up, we like if that was in real life, we would have saw balls hanging out. Like,
Release your own cut where you draw in the balls.
yeah, do the rotoscope the balls in.
I also liked how I think it was Mary left out of the prancing pony and was fucking ambushed by ring wraiths.
Yeah. Right in the street there.
Yeah.
They do a weird like Black Breath type magic thing. There's all kind of weird magic
Yeah.
animations in this film. The weird magic animations we have but that was one of them. They did like a
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, like why wouldn't they have just killed him? I guess, but like that was pretty.
Yeah,
that was
they
pretty
had to
neat.
do that instead. Yeah.
But I think one of the Gollum voice actor, I couldn't even really tell the difference between his Smeagol and his
There wasn't
Gollum.
any, yeah.
It was
Yeah.
just
Right.
kind of like, I don't know what they were going for.
Yeah, I don't really know what they were going for either. Yeah, it's just like what maybe too realistic. I don't know. I don't know why. Yeah, it was that way.
It's
but I didn't like it.
It's interesting though because like between all three movies, just the way that Gollum's like voice acting is portrayed, like all of that adds up to what PJ eventually does.
Yeah.
Right.
Like even this one, like you can tell, like oh, this is what he sounded like in this film. We want to kind of recreate that, but do it better.
Yeah. All right. Some conclusionary statements. You guys ready to make some conclusionary statements about Ralph Bakshi's 1978 The Lord of the Rings?
Yes.
Cool. Let's start with my positive comment. This is not really super positive, which is funny. The best thing about this film were the things that Peter Jackson took from it and made it better. He took things and made them better, more cohesive vision than Bakshi was able to achieve in his time. I don't know if it's Bakshi's fault or I don't know what happened, but it's less cohesive. it might be shitty to say, but the best part of Bakshi is that he gave us Peter Jackson's version.
Yeah.
You know, like this
Yeah.
laid down, like Joe said, with that we're going back to Sweet Sweetback's badass song, right? It laid the foundations for what it should be and did become.
It's kind of like what I said earlier. It's almost as if this is like the rough draft for
Yes.
what PJ ended up doing.
Yeah, proto PJ.
Yeah, proto PJ. Because
Yeah.
like a lot of the stuff, like scene to scene, like PJ's like, oh, we'll just take this and do it better. Like,
Yeah.
we'll throw in some stuff in between because we have 9 hours to do this instead of 2. Like,
Yeah.
That was another big, because I'm like down with the serious animation, but it was so rushed because he had to fit so, like, and not all of this is Bakshi's fault. A lot of it is just money and time constraints and stuff. But like, he had to fit so much content into 2.5 hours, and it's just not possible to do that, I don't think.
No.
one of the toughest things about making a film adaptation of something, right?
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, that is, you have such a tiny amount of time to tell a story compared to any other medium, right?
Mm-hmm.
Joe, you really like the scene where they meet the ring race on the road, but now that I'm reading that, it's kind of because it's like the Peter Jackson version, right?
Well, and yeah, that was a lot of how I would feel. Is I'd be like, oh, this scene is awesome, and then I don't know. I mean, it is like a compliment to this film that he had such like distinctive and like there are a lot of shots in this movie that stay with you. Like I can see why Peter Jackson watched this and was like, "Holy shit, I'm gonna put this in my
like
live action."
The tree shot, which we
Yeah.
remember, we did a shot by shot analysis of that scene for one of our Halloween specials.
Also, when they get pulled into the water and find the One Ring, that is like exactly out of the Return of the King prologue.
Yeah, they do that as well. Yep.
It's kind of interesting. You could almost say this movie, like, because I hadn't seen it before today. But I can feel the nostalgia from it. Having seen the PJ movies already, it's like I don't have the memory, but I can feel the nostalgia. Like,
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Do we have more to say, or should we give our ratings?
In general, I'd say that my main memories, like I said earlier, we had all 3 of these movies in our house growing up, and my main memory of this one is I remember this one the least of the 3 because generally we'd put it on and not understand what was happening and turn it off. So like the latter half of this movie, when I watched it, it was almost like watching it for the first time because I didn't remember a ton of it because we hardly made it that far. We just went back to the other ones.
Yeah. Honestly, yeah, I would say this movie is also just kind of boring.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of a slog in my opinion, but it is visually very interesting, but it kind of fails to deliver on making the story exciting and fun like Peter Jackson's is, right?
Yeah.
It was almost too serious in a way and kind of took away from the sense of adventure that's prominent in the other adaptations of Tolkien's work, like Rankin and Bass and Peter Jackson and pretty much every other adaptation I've seen than this one.
Yeah, it didn't really have any whimsy to it.
No, it was not whimsical. No.
I can appreciate all the talent that went into the animation style.
No, I mean, these people are
some of the
incredibly
direction was
talented.
great too, because as we mentioned already, Peter Jackson pulled so much from it. Like clearly, there's a lot of good material there, and I can appreciate it for that being a source. But otherwise, I definitely think I like the other 2 better.
Yeah, and I mean, kudos to Ralph Bakshi for giving the adult, mature treatment to this. I just think he went a little bit too much in that direction. Yeah, I think Peter nailed it. Peter Jackson nailed it with the perfect tone for a film.
Yeah, he basically had all 3 of these to kind of go off of and combine. It's kind of like It's kind of like he took the play-by-play from this movie and then added in the fun from the other 2. Right?
Yeah, that's true, Trev. He did kind of take a little bit of all of Rankin and Bass and Bakshi, mix them together, and that's kind of what we have for.
I would be willing to bet he probably watched all 3 before even writing anything, and then had the cast do the same.
Yeah, I'm sure.
To be like, this is kind of my vision, draw from this inspiration what you
We
will.
need these vibes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, let's do our 5 out of 5 rating. You ready?
Yes.
Let's go.
All right, I'm gonna go 3 out of 5. I think that's perfectly generous. I think it's not it's not a bad movie by any means. It's not what I wanted it to be, but it's definitely worth a watch. Depending on what types of drugs you're on, it might be even more fun. That's what I'm saying.
Drugs not needed, but
Not needed,
advised.
but could help. But yeah, but advised. Yeah, 3 out of 5. That's what I'm saying. Solid film, but not amazing.
So I'm going to kind of pull what you did with The Hobbit with this one. So like I so badly want to give it like the 4 out of 5.
Yeah.
I obviously can't give it a 5 out of 5, but like there's just a lot of like novel things that it does, I think. But I also can't go as low as a 3. So I'm going to do the 3.8.
3.8.
3.8.
Fair
yeah.
enough.
Yeah. It's missing some things that would make it better, of course, but I think it did a lot with what it had, especially when it comes to the animation department. Like skilled workers they had.
And it really sucks. I didn't know until like a couple days ago that Ralph Bakshi was the one that did Fritz the Cat.
Oh.
I would have had us all watch that
Yeah.
for this episode because I want to compare it to it. I've never seen any of his other films, so like I want to see like what the tone of, because that's what me and Joe were talking about. Like Fritz the Cat is supposed to is from what we understand is an irreverent, offensive comedy, whereas like this has no elements of comedy in it. It's
Right.
just completely devoid of that,
Right.
which is like strange.
Like even in the positive moments, like when they're in Bree and they ask Frodo to sing him a Hobbit song, like it's an uplifting moment that quickly turns negative.
Yes,
Like,
yeah,
they tried a little bit, but it didn't quite reach the happy part.
yeah.
I'm gonna do 2.5 out of 5, 50%.
Damn, you hated this movie.
I can appreciate, the talent that went into the animation. It is unique and it took a lot of effort and they did a good job for it. And I can appreciate what this film inspired with the Peter Jackson stuff.
Yeah.
Like there are some good bones here and there, but all in all, I was just not a big fan of this one. I don't have any fond like childhood memories of this one. And if I didn't already know the story of the Lord of the
You
Rings,
completely lost.
I would find it extremely difficult to follow.
Yeah.
It's almost like they don't really explain a whole lot as it's
They don't.
going.
They kind of expect you to know.
Yeah, they just go from like scene to scene to scene.
Yeah,
It is probably more geared towards people that read the book, I think. And it does trust you. I mean, Bakshi does trust the viewer a lot. Too much, probably, to follow the story.
Kind
But
of,
I
kind
do
of
gotta-
appreciate it. Though.
I gotta give
I
it a
appreciate
little-
I appreciate being treated like a smart person by a filmmaker, even if it's too much for me, even if I am actually too dumb.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because it also gives you the opportunity to then get educated and then rewatch
Exactly,
it and
yeah.
then be like, oh,
And
I
figure
see
it
what
out.
you were doing there.
Yeah, exactly.
I do got to give it credit for being particularly faithful in both dialogue and events to the text.
Yeah.
This one was very, very faithful.
Yeah,
But,
I mean,
it still lacked a lot of the good whimsicalness with cutting out all songs and poems.
all songs and poems.
And also, we didn't touch on this, but Gandalf's kind of an asshole in
He's,
this.
I was gonna,
He's kind of a dick.
I was going to bring that up before we left too, but I didn't know if it was worth it. But yes, Gandalf is an asshole in this version. I don't know why. It's funny because in Return of the King, he's super defeatist,
Yeah.
but he's nice. He's always like, in Return of the King, he's like, we're all going to die. And like, he's just like, but yeah,
I
he's
did-
chill though.
I did like his interaction with Saruman. That was
Yeah.
it was kind of a weird scene. And
Yeah.
the magic.
They included Saruman of many colors.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
that
even
was
said
kinda
of many
cool.
colors,
Many
and then he
colours,
got
yeah.
like the zoom out to show he's in prison on top of the Isengard and stuff.
That was
pretty cool.
that was a trippy ass battle.
yeah. It
So
was.
I have in my notes here, I just have Chode Isengard because Isengard was way too short and wide.
It's like
Should've
all the
been taller.
all the characters in this movie. They're
Yeah, they're all
Treebeard.
chodes.
I also gave it 2.5 out of 5.
Yeah.
How would I said before, but I would still recommend everyone watch this. I think it's definitely worth watching just to see the animation, to see how Peter was inspired by it, and I mean, some people love this movie. Like, it definitely has a cult following and stuff.
Yeah.
So if you do love this movie, it's not.
And
I get it. I get why people
I
love
get it,
this movie. I just wasn't entertained enough.
Can I throw in? I think there's one scene that would kind of perfectly describe this, in my
Huh.
opinion.
Which one's that?
Is the scene between Frodo and Galadriel when
Yeah.
she's tempted by the ring, right? Because like if you've seen the PJ version,
Yeah.
like she gets all like dark and like is real
Yeah,
is,
yeah.
is crazy and scary and stuff. And like this scene totally lacks that depth.
Yeah.
She's kind of
Yeah.
just kind of there and doesn't like.
yeah, you don't understand that what she's saying is bad in that moment.
Yeah, she just
And
gives
she
you
quickly,
the exposition.
And she quickly moves on to I've passed the test, blah blah blah,
Yeah,
everything's
woohoo.
good, and I'm like, oh okay.
Doesn't really explain the
Doesn't
gravity of the
explain
situation.
Yeah.
really.
Right,
yeah.
and I think that like that particular scene and how it plays out perfectly is the comparison. Like if you wanted to know the difference between this and PJ's version, like
Sure.
just
It's
watch
quintessential.
that part.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's all we have to say. Honestly, we could do a whole fucking episode probably on Bakshi's Lord of the Rings, just because the technique and the amount of people that worked on it is just. And there's also a lot of content creators have done a lot of things about Bakshi, and he's got a cult following these days. So maybe we'll see a whole episode about it one day. But for now, let's move on. Return of the King, 1980, Rankin and Bass.
Yeah, buddy.
Whiplash.
Honestly, it was refreshing when it started up and it kicked back in with that score and that animation style.
Yeah, it's like being home again.
Yeah.
So The Return of the King is an animated sequel to The Hobbit from 1977, made by Rankin and Bass, and it premiered on ABC on May 11th, 1980. That was when Reagan got elected.
That was a hell of a year. I have one
Weird
item.
fun fact.
I have one item from that year that was made in that year, and that is my old dirt bike was made in the year 1980.
Nice.
Came out the same year this movie did.
That's fucking cool. It had a budget of $3 million.
Oh, just like the other one.
Well, yeah, which is absurd for the time, apparently.
You did it with this much money, now do an even longer
Do
one
it
with the
again.
same amount.
Animation was once again outsourced to Topcraft, that company that would later become Studio Ghibli, or some of the folks would go on to be Studio Ghibli. Cool. Yeah, it's fun. A lot of this info is going to be the same, you guys, because, like I said, Rankin and Bass, they use the same people to do everything.
Same studio, same animators.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So let's get into some things that are different about this. Some notable voice casts.
Right, we got different
people.
characters, right?
Yeah, so we got all the same homies returning from the first. John Huston is back as Gandalf.
Gandalf.
Right? But we also have coming in Roddy McDowell as Samwise Gamgee.
Good old Sam.
Fucking legend, Roddy McDowell. He's a sci-fi horror icon. He has literally been in a billion movies over 60 years. His first movie was 1938. And many of them are horror sci-fi related. He started as a child actor in the late 30s, even appearing in Fritz Lang's Manhunt as a young boy in 1941.
Damn.
And holy shit, if you've never seen Manhunt, that movie rules. Check out Fritz Lang's Manhunt. I know we have a Fritz Lang fan on the Discord that we've talked about Fritz Lang movies before. Hopefully they'll appreciate that reference.
Yeah, come back and tell us about it.
Yeah. I think their name is like Dr. Mabusa or something. It's a Fritz Lang. Their name itself is a Fritz Lang reference.
The only person I can think of as a name similar is Mabusecast.
Is that who it is?
That's the only name that sounds like the one you're saying. That I know for
it's
sure.
You pronounce Mabusa. Yeah,
Mabuse. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Anyway, love that person. Big ups. Also, Roddy McDowell's in the Planet of the Apes movies. You guys, he's Cornelius and Caesar in the later films, right?
Oh, really?
Yeah, not the remake ones, but the fourth and fifth.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Of the original series. Those movies are great. Cornelius is one of my favorite characters. He's like an anthropologist of the apes. Right? He's studying human culture. It's awesome.
The ancient humans.
He's also in Fright Night, one of my favorite horror movies. Oh my god.
The OG or the remake?
The OG from 1982.
All right.
Yeah, he plays Peter Vincent, the horror host on TV.
I think that's my favorite role of his.
It's
I
definitely
love Peter
my-
Vincent.
yeah.
He's so great in that movie.
Either Cornelius or Peter Vincent is my favorite of his roles. I love, Peter Vincent is such a great character. Fright Night is such a great movie. Check that out if you haven't seen it. You're a fan of the remake. I've never seen the remake.
Yeah, the remake had David Tennant in it.
Yeah, Tennant plays Chris Sarandon's character. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Class of 84 as well. He's Mr. Corrigan, who's I believe, is he a biology teacher, right? That pulls out a gun.
Yeah, he has a great scene where he asks a biology question to a kid and holding him at gunpoint so he has to answer it.
Jesus
Well,
Christ.
no, it's messed up because should we spoil Class of 84? The kids do something horrible to him.
Oh.
And they deserve it.
Yeah, they do deserve it.
Okay.
They
all
definitely
right.
deserve it.
I'll take your word for it.
Roddy McDowell is 100% justified in what he does to these kids for that scene. But yes, Class of 84. Joe Bob showed it. Great film.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
Let's move on to our next voice actor that we all know. This is whether or not you know this person. This is Casey Kasem, who does the voice of Mariatic Brandybuck, right? Casey Kasem is a legendary voice actor and radio DJ. He's most famous for voicing Shaggy in all the original Scooby-Doo shit. Well, he did it until he died. Like
No
Scooby-Doo
kidding.
shit. Yeah, he's Shaggy, man.
Okay.
Wow, Scoob.
Like wowzers. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
As well as hosting the syndicated weekly radio show American Top 40. Yo, do you guys remember listening to this in the late 90s?
No.
American Top 40.
Not at all.
No. I used to listen to this every Sunday. Casey Kasem, he had a very distinct voice. American Top 40, right? And he would come on and you would do the Billboard charts from 40 to 1 every week, right? And he had fun little facts about every song and stuff.
Sounds like it would take a while.
It took all evening. Yeah, it took like a couple hours.
Did he like play the songs too?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he would. Yeah. Of course, it was a radio show. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He would play the song.
Yeah.
Yeah. He would introduce the song, say what number it was, and he's like, "Coming in again this week at number 4 is Spice Girls."
Oh, that sounds
Yeah.
that sounds oddly familiar.
Yeah, you probably remember listening to
I
it.
probably have.
It's super famous, you guys. But
I honestly, I thought he kind of stuck out as Mary, and not in like a good way.
yeah,
He wasn't my favorite voice actor in this.
It's hard because Casey Kasem has one of the most distinct voices of all time because he's fucking Shaggy and the guy from the radio, right? So it's hard to not notice Casey Kasem when you hear him and it does kind of take you out. It's like, oh, that's Casey Kasem.
Is that his real name?
Yeah, as far as I'm aware, yeah, I didn't. Yes, that is at least his stage name. But yeah, he did that American Top 40 all the way until 2004 when Seacrest took over, I think.
Ooh, big shoes to fill.
Yeah.
Probably didn't.
Yeah.
I was. There's a joke there somewhere.
He's little, Ryan Seacrest. He's a little guy.
He's a
You know
very
that?
short person.
Yeah, he's a little guy.
Bummer.
Hey, don't be ableist. Short kings are great, dude.
Oh, I'm not.
I'm
being
6'7". I love short kings. You guys are great. Okay, music and score. Same people, Maury Laws and Jules Bass. So the thing about Jules Bass this time is he's coming up with original songs.
And man, these are fucking bangers.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he
Like,
really-
he does a great job with it.
Really
The
fucking
music in this
bangers.
one, like, it starts off right away really great. Like, Frodo of the Nine Fingers
and the Ring of Doom. Yeah.
Like,
Oh, but that's also a really cool thing about this particular movie is that it like starts off at the end, and they regale
Narrates with a
the whole
song.
tale through that music in a way.
I
yeah.
love that. Yeah. I love the narrative way, the narrative style for this one. Yeah.
Well,
I
and
was like-
I love how the narrative begins with they're all sitting around eating, and old ass Bilbo has forgotten the
Oh, yeah, that's
adventures
right.
that they went on,
What
and
just
so they're
happened?
like, "Okay, get minstrel, get out here and
Bilbo
tell
with
the story for
Alzheimer's.
Bilbo." Yeah,
I'm not sleeping. I'm just resting my eyes.
Bilbo, Frodo, you're missing a finger.
Yeah, Bilbo's got to quit smoking, man.
it was
Holy
like
shit.
it's again like it's a clever narrative device to kind of
Yeah.
introduce the audience to the world and story and tell it. But I was just laughing that it was old ass Bilbo forgot everything.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
I just loved that character too, and I'm pretty sure he had a name. Wasn't he like the Minstrel or something?
The Minstrel
him-
of Gondor.
The Minstrel of Gondor. Yeah, in the Hobbit, he's the Balladeer. In the Minstrel of Gondor in the Return of the King. Yeah,
Yes.
played by of course Glenn Yarborough.
None other.
Yeah.
Yeah, I loved that. As soon as like they're like, but now we have our friend the minstrel to tell it for us, and he strums his guitar and starts like I almost started to laugh, and I was like, oh god, this is just too.
I was not
It
expecting
almost,
it at all.
So
Doesn't
great.
he do that? Doesn't Wes Anderson do that in Mr. Fox? Remember, there's just a part where a guy comes out with a banjo and starts singing. About part of the plot?
Yeah.
It's literally
Yeah, and then another character comes in and
Yeah.
destroys the banjo.
That's a bad
He's like,
song,
"No."
Danny. or
That's a
whatever the
bad
fuck-
song.
Yeah, it was a bad song.
I
Yeah.
love Fantastic Mr. Fox.
What a great! The kids loved it. I showed it to them. They were. It was a laugh riot.
It's
they loved it.
for the whole family.
Yeah. Wes Anderson, what a filmmaker.
What a filmmaker. Sorry.
But yes, directing The Return of the King, we got Arthur Rankin Jr. and Jules Bass. They're back again.
Once again,
Back again.
bringing up the Air A game. I honestly thought this one was. I thought they took a lot of the great aspects of The Hobbit and they kind of stepped them up in this one.
Yeah, because there's no way you're going to be able to concisely do what you did with The Hobbit because there's just
Oh,
way too
yeah.
much shit. So they had to just pick like some elements and just really go with it.
Yeah, there's definitely some things that floundered as a result, but we'll get around to those.
Yeah. Screenwriter again, the real hero here, Romeo Muller, just like last time, right, for The Hobbit. And that's the crew, guys. That's pretty much the same exact crew from last time.
From The Hobbit.
From The Hobbit, 1977, just a few years later. So let's get into our open discussion portion here. How does this film do as a sequel to The Hobbit? Because it's honestly got some big shoes to fill. The Hobbit's really good, right?
It's personally, I think it's kind of tough to say as a sequel, just because we know there's so much content in between them. Like it was cool that they got the same people to do it because then they could do some of the flashbacks to The Hobbit and kind of explain the ring in that situation, which is very important for what's going on. But there's all that stuff that happens in the middle that they can't really do justice. But I think despite that, it does some clever things to move the plot along, like immediately.
It sure does, yeah.
Like with that beginning scene, like we talked about with the minstrel, and then like they're like, oh well, what did happen to your finger, Frodo? Where's the ring? And then it cuts like immediately to Frodo having been captured.
Yeah.
And then Sam like trying to get in, and then suddenly, oh, look, the ring is on the ground along with Frodo's cloak.
Yeah.
Instead of his mithril mail, like they said, they had his cloak.
His cloak, yep.
And to explain away the ring, like it just is like the impact that it has. They had that whole sidebar with Sam like walking the other direction and having been influenced by the ring and having like visions like I could be Sam the Strong and doing that whole thing.
Probably my favorite thing about the whole movie is that they had that moment, and that was such a powerful moment. And when we talk about it in our Sam episode that we did, holy shit, years ago.
Yeah.
How that is such a defining moment for his character, where he literally looks in the face of pure temptation and evil and says, no, that's not it. That's not for me. Right?
No thanks. I don't need all that.
Yeah, and they lift that line straight from the book where he says, like, all I need is these two hands and good tilled earth or whatever the fuck he says.
His own hands and his own small garden.
Yeah. Yep.
I was a little confused though, because like when he picked up the ring, he started having some inner monologue going on, like his thoughts.
Yeah, in this one they started doing inner monologue,
and
which was very anime-like.
It seemed like the ring was talking to him because it was almost a conversation with himself. And so, but the voice didn't change too much, but it was just enough where I literally thought it was another person voicing the ring talking to him. Yeah. Which I don't know if that was like supposed to be intentionally misleading, but it absolutely
so like for a split second you're like, the ring is talking.
Yeah, until he says something about it. Like he directly references like his thoughts or whatever and how this is happening. I was really confused initially.
A little strange.
But as far as like as a sequel, like it does a lot of neat things to catch you up, and then it gets the ball rolling.
Yeah,
and I think it does it in clever ways that aren't necessarily canon, but it's acceptable.
Yeah, I would say nothing out of nothing egregious. Again, Rankin and Bass is very respectful of the source material. In my opinion, they don't add bullshit.
I thought the Nazguls were kind of bullshit. When they were like flying horses.
Yeah. The
ring wraiths were like skeletons with hair.
Really? I loved that.
I knew you would like that because
I love that.
It reminds me of like a lame 80s metal album cover.
Thundercats?
Yeah.
Skeletor!
No, I saw that and I was
That's
like,
what
the fuck did they do?
Yeah, they seemed like, I don't know, they're a little disappointing, really low effort, and they would they weren't even riding fell beasts, they were just riding like black horses with
wings. It was like Pegasus.
And then at one point when there's a scene change, the Witch King, who is at one point sitting on a black horse with wings, is now all of a sudden on a fell beast for his encounter with Eowyn,
yeah.
And that looked cool.
Yeah, that looked cool. Yeah. I was like, why didn't you do that from the beginning?
Yeah, I don't know why they just didn't have them all.
It's probably easier to animate the horse with wings than it was that whole beast.
Yeah,
but I did like the Witch King's like actual design, like when he took off his hood when he's talking to Gandalf, like it was just the crown and the beady eyes.
Cool.
Yeah, that was cool.
That seemed super dope.
Yeah.
Straight out of the book,
Straight
that
out
description.
Of the book. Yeah.
He sounded kind of like a robot from the future, but
he sounded weird. Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
It's funny, Trev, you mentioned Thundercats a few seconds ago. You know who, this is just the weird synchronicities of this. The company that went on. So you know how Ghibli, so when Topcraft went under, Ghibli became part of it.
Yeah.
The other company, I forget, Pacific Animation, I think is what they're called, PAC. They went on to make Thundercats.
Oh, cool.
So, yeah.
Okay.
That's kind of funny.
That's fun.
Full circle.
I don't know. Let me get some of my negatives off my chest. So, like, the Nazgul bothered me. Faramir was not included nor mentioned at all. I think at the very end of the film, there's a shot with Eowyn and a guy standing next to her that might have supposed to have been him, but he doesn't speak and they don't say as much.
Yeah.
Pippin sucks.
Pippin's terrible.
Pippin sucks. He's super obnoxious.
He calls out Mary, I think, when they first enter Fangorn Forest. He's like, maybe if you weren't spending so much time having fun back in Elrond's place, you wouldn't know where we are. Like,
the continuity on this one was a little more shaky. It definitely was, again, confusing for a child.
Yeah.
And their Eye of Sauron was... It didn't look like an eye, and I didn't even know that that's what it was supposed to be. Like, they'd randomly cut to shots that looked like a sun, almost, like a gold ball with some rays.
Yeah.
I didn't even really notice that.
That was supposed to be the eye.
Really make that connection
Yeah, and it was like, it was kind of confusing. It was trippy, but I was like, it took me a while to realize that was even an eye.
Yeah. You know what's an interesting thing? I was thinking about when we were doing this, how we were talking about how they have to catch you up before, the rest of the story can start.
Yeah.
Did Bakshi's Lord of the Rings kind of fuck Rankin and Bass and make it a lot harder for them to do this sequel?
Well, because
it had already covered the parts that
I was gonna mention that I specifically noted when I was watching this.
Mm-hmm.
So at the beginning of the movie, when the minstrel starts singing and they do the flashback, the song in the flashback does include some scenes from both, not only The Hobbit from the movie, but also new scenes that took place during the Fellowship, and some scenes from events that took place in the Return of the King. So they did add some shit to the flashback.
Yeah,
to give you a little more tie-in.
It
wasn't much,
mm-hmm.
but they did add some things in that flashback just to kind of connect the dots from the Hobbit movie to now.
Yeah,
if anything, watching them in order, they didn't need to cover as much. So I think if it did anything, it did a little bit of good to help lower the runtime of Return of the King.
I do imagine that must have been a hurdle.
Yeah, you think it was a hurdle, but ultimately it paid off. Or it helped their situation.
Yeah, I don't think it did as much damage as it did good. Like as long as, because you said they advertised them together at one point.
Eventually.
So
that's weird.
Yeah, if nothing else, it gave some context, but both of the stories are kind of like still separated in how they do it.
Okay.
So.
The tone is so like different. I kind of wish they just made like the Fellowship, the Two Towers, and Return of the King, Rankin and Bass, and I don't know, because they're just such like they
the
feel so
different.
different.
The two different.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I wish they would have done that, but like I don't think any studio head in the world would be like, "Oh, you want to redo what some other person just did last year?" Sure. Like I think they had that's why they had such a challenge, you know what I mean? Like they couldn't just redo Bakshi's story 2 years later, you know?
I am really impressed by just the songs in this, not having anything to really go on. Like, there's a song called Where There's a Whip, There's a Way.
Oh my God.
That might be my favorite in the movie, where the orcs are like, They don't even want to go. It's all about how they don't want to go to war and they're slaves.
Go to war today. The Last Master says, nay, nay, nay.
It's when Frodo and Sam are and they also look nothing like orcs, disguised as orcs.
They're not orc passing at all.
They were screwed, and that dude was pulling the whip like, "Get back in line." Like, okay.
Maybe they don't care. Maybe the orc was just like, "Hey, they got armor on. We're gonna send them."
Looks good to me.
You can swing a sword. You can come with us. Yeah.
I love that song because of all the songs in the whole film, like I feel like that song feels like most out of place, but in a good way. Like it's so meaningful outside of the movie.
Yeah.
In what it's like trying to portray, especially these days, it seems sometimes like
it's true.
It's not so like it feels like more than what it is.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the other ones are kind of telling the story or giving context, but this one's doing that, but it's also like, this is fucking real life. Like people deal with this shit.
We're all capitalist wage slaves at the end of the day.
Yeah.
You're not wrong.
But yeah, it did make me think about the orcs a little differently. I was like, these orcs don't want to be fighting working for Sauron.
They're more or less like enslaved.
They're slaves,
indentured servants.
And then there's like Leave Tomorrow Till It Comes, Cracks of I don't know. There's a ton of bangers in
there
this.
There are some
still.
really fucking good ones.
Yeah, and even like I was telling...
the Towers of Teeth or whatever the fuck it was.
Oh, Beneath the Towers of the Teeth. Yeah.
That was a good one.
That was a good one. Yeah. Yeah, there's some great fucking music in this. Jules Bass really outdid themselves. on this one.
While I agree with you guys, I also have to disagree a little bit.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I know. I know. I mean, part
You
of
just
it.
hate it because it's not metal, huh, Trevor? They didn't keep it heavy, keep it metal. Right?
Honestly, I'd love to see that happen as a modern thing. But
Dude, they did bring in an electric
yeah, they
guitar.
had an electric.
did,
In
yeah.
the one song we already talked about, I said
where
I
there's
like.
a whip, where there's a way that there's a little bit of funky guitar that
Yeah.
started coming. That's when I really knew that song slapped. Was when that riff started coming. I was like, oh shit,
Yeah, dude.
oh shit.
I know this movie was longer than The Hobbit, so they added like there's more music to it. It just kind of like it started to feel like it was taking away from it for me, especially with how many times I had to hear Frodo of the Nine Fingers
and the Ring of
Doom.
Dude,
Like
that
I
song-
swear, there's like 8 different times
They come in
played
with that theme a lot.
It's too much.
That song's been stuck in my head. It's been playing in my dreams.
See, it's catchy though, so it's like I
they're
don't know.
earworm- they're real
I get what
earworms.
you're
Not every
saying,
catchy song
but
is
I
good.
know.
That's true.
That's true.
It's true.
But if I had to say something positive, like I think the art quality definitely improved from this over The Hobbit, just in general. I know we discussed like the ring race, but I enjoyed them. I like this Gandalf visually more than The Hobbit's Gandalf. I think they upgraded his visuals a little bit.
Yeah.
But if I want to say some negative stuff, there was some really weird stuff like the pronunciations of some stuff.
Oh yeah, Goroth.
Gora.
What the? They're adding a whole.
Come to Gora State Park.
They
Yeah,
did
what
the
the fuck?
They did the Theodan thing again.
Theodan.
Pelennor, like
Yeah.
extra long.
minus Tirith.
Minus Terrace.
Sirith Ungol.
Yeah, that was
What the
another one.
fuck?
Some weird pronunciations. And then some of the stuff that they just explained away. Like, I kind of enjoyed the scene in the beginning with Denethor. Like, he looked like kind of like a villain, right? Like, he had an ugly look to him. Definitely devastated. But they had the freaking Palantir just sitting there, like, covered up like it was nothing. And then they explain it away as, oh, it's a magical wizard's object that tells the future.
I love when he goes, is it ever wrong?
He's never.
Well, that I would say that would be a negative for me. Is Gandalf is such a like pessimist in
Oh
this
my
one.
God,
He's
yeah.
always just like,
Yeah.
we can try, but it's probably doomed to fail.
Well, and he's like narrating it most of the time too,
That's
so
true,
it
yeah.
didn't feel good at all to have him narrating and then being such a pessimist.
Yeah,
like,
dude.
Like I understand like that
You
whole.
okay, Gandalf, dude?
Well,
Like,
and clearly this was a story about the hobbits, and then it would just switch to some war to show you how bad things are. But then it goes back to the hobbits,
Yep.
and then some more war. Like I guess that's cool, but it felt disjointed because.
Well,
of that.
we're also cutting between the minstrel narrating and then sometimes Gandalf is narrating. So there's
Yeah.
like two different narrators.
That's right.
At different points in time too. Did anyone else? I nearly shit my pants when I got to the end of the movie and Gandalf breaks the fourth wall.
Yeah.
I laughed so hard.
Yeah, it was super weird. He's saying something about how like the hobbits are like, oh, what is it? One of them says like, is there a place for us in this new world of men? You know, because Gandalf said like now it's the age of men. The elves are leaving and stuff. And he points out like, well, if you look at all the hobbits in here, like Bilbo's small, Frodo's a little bigger, and Merry and Pippin are much bigger. Eventually, hobbits will be the same size as men. So maybe there will be a little bit of hobbits. Like, well, a question is there a little bit of hobbits in all of us?
Yeah, and then he stares dead into the camera and he says,
It's something like, is there? Or like, do you feel like there's like hobbit in you or something?
yeah, he's like, well, is there? And then it just fucking cut, and I just nearly died. I don't know. It was so hilariously corny.
I forget what part this was at, but I have in my notes a quote from Gandalf saying, "We leave this life together, then, Pippin." Just to give you a moment.
oh, yeah. I remember that line, yeah.
yeah. They're like sitting on the wall. Just like,
That's right. No, I
Bro,
do remember. Yeah.
there's also, remember at the end of this when Frodo says to Sam, die well, Samwise?
yeah.
It's like everyone's just super
and
accepting
then the
of
eagles
death,
come
right?
and save them at least. But
Yeah.
oh yeah, no, back to the Denethor thing. Like he's going crazy. He's trying to end his life. Then it just cuts to there goes the life of Denethor.
Yeah,
Like,
so
Yeah, I
passes
was
Denethor.
disappointed.
I was like, you can kind of see smoke coming up from like the
Yeah.
little
this is
thing.
like there's some pretty dark moments. for
Yeah,
a
they
kids
just kind of
movie, like-
glazed over that.
You're like, we're gonna not touch that one.
What happened there, mommy? Pewter.
Yeah,
Pewter happened.
Pewter happened. Lead poisoning,
Well,
son.
and they even gave like from the Palantir, they gave a premonition or whatever, like when the black sails come across the sea, and then
Yeah.
Gandalf sees the black sails, and it's like, oh, it came true. Oh no.
Yeah.
And but then they're saved by the backup, but still.
And one other negative for me in this is that Aragorn's not really involved that much,
He's
and
not. He's just like, this is the guy who's supposed to be king.
Yeah.
they don't really explain
Total
much about
auxiliary.
him.
Oh,
He
yeah.
just shows up on a boat.
It's the story of Aragorn, really, but like, because they even say at the end, and Aragorn was finally able to fly his flag at the top of the tower or something. But it's like, what did he even do this whole time?
Well, and he's kind of in my notes I have it. When Mordor is crumbling, he's like, "How is Mordor being destroyed?" Like he has no, he just has no idea what's
no
going on with the
fucking
ring
clue.
or Frodo. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird.
I did think the file of Galadriel was pretty trippy.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's another thing.
Speaking of trippy, it literally looked like a vial of LSD.
It's just little weird
That's what it reminded me of,
sparkles
like,
around it.
just
yeah,
like,
there's it was like
you have to get
pixelated
past.
sparkles, like really pixelated. It was really crazy.
That's
All you
that's
gotta
another
do-
thing they also just randomly explain away because Sam like found it in Frodo's.
Yeah, he's like,
his
this
cloak.
thing.
He's like, "What is this, Mr. Frodo?" And he's like, "Oh, I can't tell you, or it'll lose its magic." And then they
Yeah.
never
Yeah.
talk about it again.
That was fucking ridiculous.
Don't
that was
ask me.
hilarious.
Don't ask, don't tell. Like,
Yeah, that was another one of those things like at the Palantir. Does it ever lie? Never.
Never.
I did enjoy how they had Grond in this.
Grond
looked
yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Even,
they
like,
even named
drooled
it-
a little bit of
Yeah.
hot like acid or something at
Yeah.
one point. Like it was so cool.
it was a weird twitchy animation too
a little
for,
bit.
for
Yeah.
hitting the door and everything.
I have a funny thing in my notes. It just says the white tree looks too much like a menorah. Did you notice that?
I'd have to
No, I
rewatch
didn't
it.
notice
Yeah.
that.
I was like, this looks like the Hanukkah thing, right? Like I was like that. It doesn't look quite look like a tree.
Is that cultural appropriation?
Yeah, are they? I guess it's Hanukkah in Gondor, dude. I don't know.
Gonica.
It's Hanukkah.
You know, one scene that I think they added, I don't think this is part of the original story, was when Frodo asks Gandalf and Elrond if he can join them when they leave Middle-earth. Like they're
Oh,
having a
yeah.
conversation
Yeah.
about leaving
He's
Middle-earth.
like, can I come?
And he's like, well, can I come? And Gandalf is like, of course. Like
He says there's always room for a friend. I was like,
No,
this is actually the only time where like there's
his
not.
first thing was he says, "Do you even have to ask that question?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
No, I actually really enjoyed this scene. I thought it was really nice and it gave some closure to like, I don't know, Frodo's character and his journey and his struggle. Like it was really nice to have that conversation.
I did like
and
the
that
ending,
acknowledgement,
yeah.
like
I like when they're on the boat afterwards and Bilbo's just in a chair with a blanket having a nap,
Having
like,
a good
and it's just
old
pouring
nap.
down rain.
yeah, it's
Like,
raining. It's really kind of almost sad. It's like it's raining and it's
I was waiting for that moment where like the light just shines through and there's Valinor, but no, you don't get that.
no.
One other weird thing is Sam said that he was searching for days in Mount Doom for Frodo at the end. Did you catch that? Or am
Yeah, I caught that
crazy?
too. Yeah, no, he did say.
I was like,
he looked for
is that in the
days,
book?
yeah. It doesn't. The whole Mount Doom thing. Like once they get to Sammath Naur, I think is like within a day. I don't think it takes multiple days. No.
I was just flabbergasted. I was like, you were wandering around in the volcano for days trying to find Frodo and Gollum.
Yeah.
I like that Frodo doesn't get the credit too. Like Sam specifically says something along the lines of like Gollum did our job for us or something
Yeah.
like that. Like he finished the fight.
Hashtag Frodo failed.
Hashtag-
Frodo failed.
Isn't it more like
Gollum is the hero?
Gollum is the hero?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Secret hero, Lord of the Rings.
Yep.
Gollum. There we go.
He was the first one to pick up the ring and keep it out of Trouble's hands the longest, and he's the one that ended it.
Ended it all for good.
He sacrificed his life and his role in society just to harbor
His
this.
role in society. He's like a degenerate.
He's a hero. In this house, Gollum's a hero.
hero.
Oh God.
Should we jump into ratings?
Yeah, let's give. I think
Yeah.
let's do our ratings. I'm gonna go ahead and say this one is a 4 out of 5. I think this one is not quite as good as the Hobbit one, but it was more of a tall order. Obviously, The Return of the King is one of the densest books fucking ever, right? And they had to recap 2 other movies or 2 other books.
Yeah.
And you know what I realized too while I'm thinking of this just now? Peter Jackson must have took notes from this because it intercut the 2 books together, the timelines. Because how the Lord of the Rings book works is, you have book 1 and book 2 of each one.
Yeah, you're following certain characters to the
Right.
end, and then the next book picks up with different characters and backs
further
things up
back.
a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, but these 2 movies, they're giving you both storylines side by side.
Coincidental.
Yeah.
Which Peter Jackson did, which is one of the hardest things about writing that screenplay.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
How do you bouncing between
Yeah.
these 2 stories?
It's crazy. And anytime you got to do that screenwriting wise, I do not envy you. So, yeah, 4 out of 5.
I also will give it a 4 out of 5.
Fuck yeah.
I think for similar reasons, as far as like The Hobbit versus this goes, like you can tell the talent had evolved. They did a lot more of a variety of stuff with this. They had a lot more to cover, so like it's understandable that they would have to explain away some things like the Palantir or the File of Gladriel. Like whatever is. I don't know. I can't really forgive the Palantir thing.
Yeah.
I'm pretty mad about that one.
Yeah.
But
they never lie.
never. But overall, like I think with what they had, they pulled ahead in ways that the Hobbit couldn't have. Like the Hobbit was very true to the source material. Mm-hmm. This one was also, but had to take some shortcuts. Mm-hmm. And so like I can't give it a 5 out of 5. If it had like the budget and the time to do it justice, this definitely could have reached a 5 in my opinion. Like if they had been able to achieve the same level of quality and true to the book stuff that the Hobbit did, then this could be a 5 for me. But because it can't, it would be a 3, but the animation was pretty cool in some places. I loved the Nazgul. I liked the scene where the Witch King died. Like all that stuff was cool. Yeah. So does better in some ways than the Hobbit did, but worse. So they kind of even out.
Fair enough.
This one was my favorite of the 3. I did a 4.5 out of 5.
Nice.
Because I mean, again, it wasn't perfect, like you guys said. It was a tall order, so it was hard to keep the story really cohesive, but I think they did a pretty good job considering, and I think they also kind of realized what worked with The Hobbit, and they kind of embraced that, they embraced the songs and things like that, and the music, and the art style, and they backed off some of the weirder art styles, but I don't know, this one came together really well for me. It was my favorite, so I gave it a 4.5.
Hell yeah.
I gave it 3.5. I still really liked it. I felt like some of the characters were a little weird, like Gandalf and Aragorn, and then some of the, like, Casey Kasem. so, I don't know. I felt like there's a lot more. It was more inconsistent to me than The Hobbit.
Coming in at number 1, weird things about this movie, Casey Kasem.
But I don't know. I did really like it. The songs are bangers. I would definitely recommend. I would recommend watching all of these.
Dude, what if Casey Kasem did a countdown of the best songs from the Rankin and Bass Hobbit film, or Rankin and Bass? Would you listen to that?
Sure.
Or did you just hate Casey Kasem?
I'd listen to that.
Yeah. As long as he didn't like try to react himself.
Yeah, as long as he didn't voice the character.
What if don't do it? Don't do it in the voice of the character.
What if he did it as Shaggy? Yeah.
As Shaggy? Okay.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
All right, guys. That is all 3 of those films that we said we would cover. We didn't lie. We did it.
We did it. We done gone did it. And by golly gee willikers, we sure had a great old trip down memory lane. I don't know about you guys. I don't know. This meant a lot to me, like I said, because I grew up with these. So like watching all of these again was great and hilarious. I had a pretty great time.
Yeah. I think this was super interesting. Checking out some of these older adaptations of Tolkien, it was kind of cool to see how much they influenced the later adaptations, like mainly Bakshi and Peter Jackson, but also War of the Rohirrim, which just came out, obviously, owes a lot to these films as well.
It does.
Right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Cool. I thought it was cool that I thought it was cool we got to cover film and game in the same season, Trevor.
Oh yeah,
I don't think we've ever done that before.
Get some cross media in there.
Yeah.
Well, and it's even better because like we had a game about hobbits, and like so we got kind of this nice like chill, like Middle Earth experience, and then we got to go back to what everybody knows, like the dangerous, like the wars happening, the One Ring is a problem, but so we kind of got like some peace and some anxiety.
It was
going
a good
around
spread.
everywhere.
It's been a good spread so far.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah, we're not like butter spread over too much bread at this point.
Yeah, perfect example of what it feels like to be 30. Yeah. Perfect. Yeah. I love that dialogue. Yeah. Well, thanks again. Also to Joe Vasky, thanks for coming, bud.
Yeah, it was fun. I really liked watching all these too.
Yeah, it was a fun assignment. I want to have you back on in the future. Obviously, you know what I really want to do, Joe? There's some old fan films from the 70s and stuff that I've heard about.
Oh, that'd be fun to watch.
Yeah, I want to do that with
more Tolkien stuff.
That would be fun.
Remember we did fan films.
I remember those were really good.
There's more.
Yeah, no, those all were good. Yeah,
I would watch those over any of these 3 again.
Yeah, exactly.
For sure.
Yeah, there's a Soviet version of The Lord of the Rings.
That would be cool.
That would be interesting.
That we haven't touched on. There's a Finnish version of The Lord of the Rings. And there's a couple other ones that I found out while I was doing the other fan films. So, Joe, come back on for that. You got to promise.
Yeah,
and also,
that'd be cool.
check out Joe on our Discord, obviously. He's on there all the time, but also check him out in our upcoming Untitled Horror podcast. Details to be determined.
We swear it's coming. It's coming, guys.
Coming.
It's kind of a cool
coming.
name. Details to be determined.
Details to be determined. That's the name of our horror podcast.
Actually, that would be a dope name for a podcast.
That's not a bad
Nah.
name. For a
No one
podcast.
take that.
We, again, by the time you listen to this, our legal department will have copyrighted that. Next week, we got another Joel-isode. This one is super fucking cool. I can't believe we're doing this. This is Friendship is Magic 2, Gimli and Legolas.
Yeah, our last Friendship is Magic, we covered the friendship of Sam and Frodo, kind of from the lens we were talking about Sam's life.
Yeah.
But this is going to be talking about one of everybody's like favorite friendships of all time.
Yeah, that first episode was when Joe was super sick with cancer. We did that for him.
Yep.
And now he's all better
God, that
and
was
stuff.
so long ago.
That was so
now.
long ago,
It was like
bro.
5 years ago.
Yeah, you picked you picked that episode. I asked you what you wanted me to do, and you said Samwise, and I done and did it. But that was a good episode.
I think a nice one about this too is it's not gonna be gay.
Yeah,
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
There's nothing gay about the Lord of the Rings at
Nothing
all.
gay in the Lord of the Rings ever. No
But-
kissing.
I mean, really, Gimli and Legolas. I mean, do they have the kind of same friendship like Sam and Frodo had? You know, like I don't think it's. I don't quite think there's as many queer undertones.
Bro, do you remember One Night in Rivendell?
I was just about to bring that up.
Did you just? Or were you with the sexy fan fiction we read with the
It was one of the Tolkien gets sexy.
Yeah, it was bad.
I don't
Throne
know.
of
I don't know if I
Balls.
was there for it, but I remember it. I remember it very much.
That was raunchy.
Never forget the Throne of Balls.
Yes, throw the ball.
So funny.
Oh my
But that's
God.
fanfic. No, that just means that there's undertones. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
People should.
And that's totally fun. I'm looking forward to hearing about
Yeah,
it.
we're gonna have so much fun with Friendship is Magic too. But yes, thanks for listening to KOT Podcast. Subscribe to us wherever you get your podcasts. Also, stay up to date on new episodes and rate us and give us a review if you like. That'd be really cool. We love reading reviews and it helps boost us in the algorithm and all that fun stuff. So please do that if you feel so inclined. Also, please check out our new website, which is simply keepontolkien.com. This is a hub for all things KOT, anything you can imagine, right there. The click of a button. Go check it out.
A big thank you to all of our patrons on Patreon, especially our certified Tolkieneers who choose to go the extra mile. Thank you so much. That would be Rob C., Nienna, Jessica G., and Carm CP. You guys are amazing.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And don't forget that subscribing on Patreon not only supports us, but also unlocks some exclusive content, some fun stuff. So go check that out.
Like that filthy.
Yeah, like
That
the filthy
filthy-
balls we
that
just talked about.
Filthy shit we
Throwing
just
balls.
talked about.
Yeah, that's from Patreon.
That's over at patreon.com/KOT podcast. We also have the option for private one-time donations. Just contact us. We appreciate anything you're willing to give to support. Thank you.
It all helps. Thanks.
But also, you should follow us on social media. You know, share our endeavors with your friends so everybody can be a little more connected.
Yeah.
But if you want to connect even more, go to Discord. Oh man, our Discord is the best place.
Can't really speak highly enough of our Discord community. We love those guys. Super fun every day on there.
Yeah, there's always something to look forward to. Like I even took a weekend off, didn't even look at Discord. I came back and I'm like, oh man, there's already I gotta catch up. Like
Yeah.
there's pictures being posted of cool art and
And there's just people. It's fun to just talk to. There's people from all over the world on there. All over the U.S. All over. There's Europeans. There's just
Yeah.
Asian people.
I love that we
There's
have
all
a
kinds.
wide reaching
A
audience.
truly international community.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah, we're so happy to have you guys. Tell your friends, bring them on too, and
Yeah.
we can all be a big happy family together.
Yeah.
But if you want to find us in other places, we do post some stuff to TikTok. We're still on X for now. I say for now. You can find us on Facebook. We are on Instagram. But if you want to actually find the links to those places, you should go to the website Danica mentioned earlier, keepontolkien.com. That's keepontolkien.com. And if you follow that link in the next 5 minutes, you'll be happier.
That's right.
So much happier. And while you're there, if you want to help support us just a little bit more, check out our merch store. We got some cool KOT themed merch. You can, get a bag or a hat or, a t-shirt. I wear our t-shirts all the time. I freaking love them, especially the shafted one. I still, that's a guilty pleasure of mine. But yeah, and I'm sorry, guys. I can't do it anymore. The keep-on-tolkien.podcast@gmail.com. I just can't do it anymore.
We don't let him do it anymore.
Yeah. That thing you just did, you can't do it.
I was just
don't say it.
No, you're not supposed to notice me sneaking it in there.
Damn it. He did it again.
Son of a bitch.
All right, well, that's everything, right? Wow.
That's the kit and caboodle.
That's everything. Wow. I am Danny J.
I'm Joel N.
Trevor D.
I'm Joe Vasky.
And together we are, of course,
Keep on Tolkien.
Alray and Tulava and the Ring of Doom. R.I.P. Glenn Yarborough. I'm actually not sure if he's dead or not.
Hold on. Day will come again and the Ring of Doom.
Whatever.